long story short, yesterday, or I guess day before yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking about dive macro, dive fundamentals, and we talked a lot about how like early in the season, the level of play is going to be significantly lower than like normal, I guess you could say. So everything that is done with that big disclaimer that these are some of the best players in the world. And so me haranguing and yelling and hollering is just basically just for fun, and just because I find it fun. It's fun for me. Like it's just fun, and I'm trying to kind of pretend that these players are performing at a high level just for the sake of analysis. But obviously, like these guys are early in training. The level of play, like I said, is going to be a lot lower. So don't take it too hard. And I also don't want to see, I'm going to try, like we're going to be looking at 2 Vegas codes just because those are what's leaked. But I don't want to see a lot of like, really don't want to see a lot of like haranguing and dogpiling on Vegas right now. Like Vegas have some good players. And every year, there's teams that overperform expectations. It may be Vegas, it may not be Vegas. I've been in circumstances like Vegas is in where you don't have like super high S tier mechanical warlords, and you can still win a lot of games. It's just going to be the mentality, the coaching, the cohesion, the attitude, all the sort of things, and how it works, and a little bit of luck as well. So our best wishes for Vegas this season, and I don't want this to just be a dogpile Vegas stream at all. I'm going to be very honest and very blunt, but I will not be insulting whatsoever to these players. I think that's very disrespectful. So I also don't want to see a lot of trash talking as well, because again, as I've said before, performance in scrims early in the season is not a very good metric for performance over the course of the season, especially later in the year. Scrim bucks do matter, absolutely. Obviously, good teams do well in scrims. That's not a secret, but especially early in the season, it's not a one-to-one discrepancy. It makes it more likely that you're looking at a good team, but not a lot likely. So just be respectful. That's all. Okay, let's take a look here. So this is Vegas versus Vancouver. Punk, Aspire, Sugarfree, Blueberry, Blackberry. Honestly, okay, I feel really stupid saying this, but I do not even know who's all on Vancouver. I know the coach by Ascoft with Baroy GM, which is cool. Crimzo and Faith. Got it. Crimzo and Faith. So Faith and Crimzo. Crimzo was with, who was Crimzo with recently? Crimzo was with Boston recently. Crimzo, Faith is Boston as well. Punk is Boston as well. Sugarfree, you guys know as the NA young warlord who's finally coming into the league. So excited for him. Aspire was probably Vancouver's best player last season. So big excitement for him as well. And 5-man roster, cool stuff. Dove, Rack Attack, Luke Mino, Mouthful, Vulcan. This is the Odyssey core from Contenders, with the exception of Mouthful. There's not a whole lot more to add here. Vegas struggled a little bit last season towards the end of the year, put into a really difficult situation where Paris basically just completely gutted their roster midway through the season, and made a lot of controversial changes. And then now this roster is kind of coming back into its own again, in a team house, in a full like mental reset. So we'll see how they go this season. Okay, so let's take a look here. So this is going to be Dive Mirror. We talked a lot about Dive Mirror yesterday, but the TLDR, for those of you guys who don't know, it's all about controlling space, controlling angles, setting up your Tracer, your Sojourn, and your Kiriko for the best positions possible for them to put out the most damage, which is usually on off angles, cover, corners, high grounds, things like that. And the team that's able to better control that space usually is able to either set up better dives on the backline, or more often than not, just because they hold the better angles, they do more damage and they get picks. They could be on the enemy Tracer, could be on the enemy Winston, could be on the enemy Sojourn. It doesn't absolutely have to be on the enemy backline. The other thing to keep in mind, especially in a map like this, is going to be all about timing, like synchronizing our pressure at the same time. Something that might look like feeding may just be a miscommunication where Punk isn't on the same page, or Vulcan is on the same page, or Dove isn't on the same page, or Sugarfree isn't on the same page with the rest of their team. So we need to synchronize our pressure. And the cooldowns that need to be synchronized are really 2 things that we're looking to kind of synchronize. Number 1, we're looking to synchronize our Winston bubble. And number 2, we're looking to synchronize our Tracer pressure. It's not so much of a cooldown as it is a position, but those are the 2 big outliers, because usually Kiriko, Lucio, Sojourn, those guys are going to be in position most of the time, but you really want to try and synchronize your pressure at the same time. Now, I'm interested to see that this is the meta right now. I don't know what the Overwatch League is meta behind the scenes. If you guys listen to the Hawk interview by Yiska, which is probably one of the best interviews I've ever heard in esports, period. Highly recommend Yiska's work, and I also highly recommend the interview with Hawk. But that interview was very enlightening about how apparently, at least in APAC, a lot of ball monkeys being run, and there's been whispers and rumors of that. We've got to see some Reinhard as well, depending on the region. So not really sure what the meta is right now. Every year there are meta teams that are meta slaves and do poorly, and every year there's at least one team that tries to shift up the meta and play to their strengths. So it's very interesting. Let's take a look. So it's interesting, if you guys notice this is what I'm talking about when we talk about map control in space, right? The first thing that you guys should notice here is look at look at Faith's positioning. Do you guys see this? Faith is actually in no position to peel Sojourn Kiriko. Why? Because he knows that if his Sojourn Kiriko gets dove, they're totally fine. Why? Because there's no off angle to pincer them. If just Winston dives in, Winston alone is not enough threat to actually matter, right? Doesn't matter. Hey Sora, long time no chat. If the Winston just dives here, he doesn't need Winston peel. This is fine, or Lucio peel. So what Lucio's actually doing, guys, remember we talked about 2 days ago? Controlling space. What the only reason this Winston dive would be lethal is if this Tracer is able to stage and flank at the same time. So what they're actually doing is they're putting their Lucio with Tracer to win this duel so that they A, can prevent this Tracer from getting the off angle to set up a dive, and B, maybe set up their Tracer to bully their Tracer out so that now that Sugar Free actually has a free angle to go in a dive ahead of time. Why not Kiriko with Tracer? Probably because Kiriko needs to keep LOS and her monkey, and the monkeys might be playing more on main to control space. So you need the glut of healing more with your monkey. If we were running this with like an on a Kiriko, you wouldn't, but like let's say you would, then you would see Kiriko with Tracer. So you need somebody to heal your tank line. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, this is the kind of setup here. Now, the problem with Colosseo is these two glass panels make it very difficult to do anything without kind of feeling each other out and or hard committing. So unfortunately, Colosseo is probably going to be a little bit of a stalemate unless somebody makes a mistake, and there's not going to be a lot of like dive depth macro crap because this map is so poorly designed, at least this choke, that there isn't a lot of nuance to it. So this might just simply be somebody messes up, a Kiriko hits a headshot, a Sojourn hits a rail, and unfortunately that might just be the fight. This part of the map is really poorly designed. It is objectively bad design, and all they would have to do is remove the glass, and this would be so much more dynamic. You could have Winston's actually taking more space. These flanks would actually matter a lot more. It's difficult. So, and there it is, right? That's all it really took. How did Malthul get stuck there? So Malthul's swinging wide. You notice that both Sojourns are actually swinging wide here to kind of control the angle here. I only think the difference here is that Malthul actually gets bullied out here and then just gets his head rolled. I mean, yeah, that'll do it, right? I think Malthul could have positioned a little bit better here. But I will say that this Lucio Tracer assistance is very interesting to me. Yeah, this is Vegas and Vancouver. All right, so Punk walks forward. Punk probably could have been a little bit more patient there. They're gonna pursue hard, but he didn't have to use bubble, which means that they're able to continue to pursue with bubble afterwards. A little bit of Sojourn E. Okay, nothing really complicated here. Aspire. What happens to Aspire? Just overstays his welcome. I think the enemy Kiriko actually hits a shot as well. Maybe I'm wrong here. Yeah, so the enemy Kiriko hits a shot, and that's going to be like a little bit of that and some nice tracking from Dove, and it's going to be just overextension. So like I said, early in the season, a lot of fights. We're going to talk about macro and strategy because it's fun, but a lot of fights are just going to be won through mechanics and people making really stupid errors. Case in point. One mistake and then another mistake, and that's really the fight. They do get a small lead, which is helpful. Now, what we're probably going to see is, especially as the fights evolve away from Robot, you'll start to see the fights are decided about which Tracer and which Sojourn takes the better position. Because here's what you have to think about. When we're thinking about angles and controlling angles, you have to think about who benefits from positions more than anybody else. Does a Lucio care where he plays? Not really. Does a Kiriko care where she plays? A little bit, but she's going to be healing her Winston a lot of the time, even with new Kiriko, right? Does Tracer care where she plays? Yeah, a little bit. A better angle on backline or an access to backline is important, but most importantly, you need a sightline for your Sojourn. If your Sojourn can hold here, it's okay, but what if your Sojourn could hold here on this corner here? Do you see how valuable this angle would be? Do you see how much pressure this could be? So this is very greedy. You guys notice that, right? But if we can get Aspire set up here, he's going to be farming his rails so fast and doing so much damage that if we can peel it out, then we're good to go. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Why do these comps mirror each other? Well, because a lot of the time what ends up happening is that one or two heroes get to be relatively strong. Everybody plays those one or two heroes, and everybody plays heroes that complement that. The other answer that I think is unfortunately the case is that a lot of teams are just cowards, and then they don't lean into their strengths as much as they could. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. That's just how it is. I think there's most of it is just because they're heroes that are strong. You have to play those heroes. There's nothing about it. But also there's just teams that just mirror for no reason, just for the fact that mirror good other team copy. You think that's just how it is. And there's teams that will go terrible and they'll just play meta and they'll always lose. And yeah, no comment though. So we want to see Aspire take as good of an angle as he possibly can. Vancouver might even be willing to give up the lead here because taking a fight here is not optimal, whereas taking a fight with high ground control is much, much better. So they might actually just give them the lead here because the lead doesn't matter that much this early in the fight, despite what some people will tell you about push. So yeah, they're going to drop down. Now, Punk has to be careful. Yeah, I don't like this that much, to be honest with you guys. I don't see a big reason for Vulcan to be going in this hard. This is what you need to do. So, can you guys tell me what's wrong with this picture right here? What's wrong with this picture? Because there's a couple of things that are right with this picture. Vulcan is using jump, aggressively taking space. Dove does have a little bit of a pincer on backline, right? So we got that. Out of LOS from healers, yes. Number one, I don't think Luke is walking forward as much. I mean, I think Luke may be okay, but there's one particular hero who's not taking space here. Right, Malthul has no angle. Now, Malthul cannot do this. He cannot slide to here using his shift because then he can get jumped and he will die. Malthul does, however, have to walk forward as Vulcan walks forward. Otherwise, they will 100% lose this tank trade. You see, Vulcan's not necessarily making a mistake here. I don't know who's at fault, guys. We're not here to point fingers. But I am going to say that this dive will never work for space. Because remember, we're not committing to backline. We're doing a bubble rotation to try and win the cooldown trade. And if you guys remember the grand finals analysis, Dallas, this is not going to work because Vulcan is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1v5ing or 2v5ing right now. And even if you count in a little bit of Luke Mino healing, this is at best a 3v5. So what we'd want to see here is we would like to see Rack Attack needs to be on the wall here, speeding Malthul forward, or even on the floor if he doesn't want to peek. And Malthul needs to be peeking this with Sojourn E and lighting Punk up in the head. Would Lucio speed help Malthul position? Yes, it would. So this is on our backline actually rotating without using a cooldown to create a better off angle so that we don't lose this tank trade. At least we don't lose it badly. We get kind of a neutral trade, right? So it's a timing issue. Yes, it's a timing. You guys, timing and positioning are always going hand in hand. Always. You cannot have good timing without good positioning. You can have good positioning without good timing. So Malthul might be doing the right thing, but he's doing it. He doesn't even push up here. It's kind of too late. So whose problem is that? Is that Malthul? Did Vulcan not call it? Does Rack Attack not understand that we need? I don't know. Maybe they know it, but we haven't practiced it well enough, right? Remember, there's a gap between understanding and execution. But this is not good because Vulcan is always going to lose that tank trade. Okay, the problem is not that Vulcan bubbled first. That is a misconception. The problem is that Vulcan bubbled first, but nobody was with him. So then when Punk bubbles, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they had been better, Vulcan could have bubbled first and still won the cooldown trade. Because sometimes if you bubble too late, let's say you try to bubble second, the Sojourn gets a rail in your head, and then you lose a lot of HP, whereas Vulcan only loses his slower. Can Vulcan just wait 1 or 2 seconds? Yeah, we could have waited 1 or 2 seconds, yes. Great shot from Vulcan, from Malthul, though. But Vulcan's going to have to disengage because Vulcan lost his HP trade. This is where like the mechanics comes into play, right? Nice shot. I do think Aspire got a little greedy there. I'm actually curious. Was he thinking, did he have a charge rail? He must have had a charge rail looking for backline. Yes, so he's looking for backline now. So he's walking forward, and he just kind of gets a little bit too sloppy with this positioning, okay? Yeah, just a little bit sloppy. Just a little bit sloppy, okay? But Vulcan hard loses the HP trade Sugar Free overextends a little bit because Punk is back and Aspire's back. This is a huge opportunity here for Vegas. I don't know why this is as stressful as it is. But we're okay. Oh man, what happened? What happened here? So I want to know what's happening here. Like, what's happening here? So they're up one, and they decide to go in really deep. The problem is they don't have a lot of space, and then they do get really split on targets. Dove and Vulcan are on 2 different targets. So then Vulcan comes back, but then they don't get the kill on the Lucio. Meanwhile, Vancouver does a much better job following all on the same target. And then Lenny, aka Sugar Free, starts to C9 cart. Dove comes back. They punish the Kiriko, great job. But then Sugar Free just goes for a mechanical play, man. Oh my gosh, Sugar Free. I mean, I feel like this is just not a good play, but yet he gets away with it because his mechanics are just... Let's actually check this out. Oh, and he gets the follow-up from the... That's actually just a crazy mechanical play. So, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Malthul wins through good mechanics, not through good team play on the side of Vegas, and then they die by the same thing. Yeah, this is not super clean. I will say that Vegas lost a little bit of target focus there, which was a little bit unfortunate. Dove should probably die. I don't think Luke should have died here. Luke should have been able to get out here. Oh geez, sorry guys for that. That's the replay code. We just needed to disengage. I don't like this bubble trade. I don't like Luke's positioning. Yeah, this is just a stagger. This is your platinum games, ladies and gentlemen. And Dove's gonna stagger as well. Maybe they worry about robot. Maybe gets out. And then okay, Punk is just rolling. Yeah. So this is actually pretty smart. I think it is probably worth an ultimate to use to continue the stagger because he just increased the spawn timer before the next fight happens by like another 20 seconds. Is that worth an ultimate? Probably worth it. I think it's okay. You guarantee you get probably around 40 meters with that. Maybe not 40. Maybe I'm being a little bit ambitious with that. Close to 40 meters. Wait, is it 40 meters? Ah, it's 40 meters. Okay, now this is where ults start to kick into play. So, if you're Vegas here, I think all you need to do is shoot cart and abuse your positions. We talk about angle and map control advantage. Push map, you just inherently have a map control advantage when you're on defense because you just have the high ground, so you have all the off angles. So all you have to do is shoot a little bit of cart, farm your rail, which you'll have a rail faster, and just shoot tanks. I don't actually think Vegas is any rush to use an ultimate here at all. So I actually think both teams are a bit of a stalemate. Vancouver's hoping that Vegas uses an ultimate first so that they can match and take the fight on the floor. If we can get them off the high ground pushing into us, then we're happy with that because we can match them toe to toe, Kiriko for beat for beat. The only thing obviously is the primal, which will be rough, but okay, fine, we lose the fight, but they use primal. We just don't really want to play around their high grounds. Like we don't like this. This is really uncomfortable. So what Vancouver needs to try and do is try and keep somebody on cart to try and push it. If it gets to like here, we're happy. And then just hope that Vegas makes a mistake and overextends. You can, when you get to the robot to about here, flip the map and go inside. You give up the entire map, but at least you deny the high ground's ability to shoot down on you. So the worst thing that Vegas could do here is probably drop off of high ground and force a play, even though they have a slight ult advantage. Maybe I could see a Sojourn ult, maybe, and then just focusing robot. I'm not really sure here. So they're going to try and force something aggressive. I actually don't mind this play too much from Vancouver. This is a very aggressive play, but it can work, absolutely. My problem here is, are we going to actually see a proper peel response? Because even though this is a good, probably a reasonable risk for Vancouver, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't work if it's peeled properly. So where's Rack right now? Rack should either be peeling off his Sojourner or his Kiriko, one or the other. We missed the Winston jump. That's a big issue. We need to be hitting the Winston jump. There's a Kiriko ult. We can just match Kiriko ult here. Oh, Rack. So Rack attack needs to be looking at Winston right here. We need to be looking at Winston right here. This is a mistake. There's no reason that Punk should be able to make this jump without getting booped right back again. So that's a mistake on Rack attack. Okay. Then we're going to go back and peek, and then we get crossfired by Aspire. That's such a nice little cut. You know, this is such a high risk, high reward play. But like I said, Vancouver can afford to make these because they don't have map control. So they have to find a way to either just bait them into do something or go for an aggressive play. I don't even know if he was going for Rack attack, but yeah. So Aspire dies. Luke needs to match ult here. He can't afford to wait this long. Ah, man. It's a great play by Malthul. Honestly, using this ult is probably... Malthul shouldn't be here. Malthul really shouldn't be here. He doesn't even hear the Kiriko ult, I swear.
This ends now.
Yeah, he shouldn't be here. He should, like, literally be walking into this. And I don't know why Luke is not ulting here. So Rack fails the peel. And that's it. And that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. So better timing, better team play, really, from Vancouver. They rolled the dice and they used both support ults. But a 2-for-1 trade, you're gonna be able to get a good spawns with this one as well. I actually think this is totally reasonable from Vancouver, especially if you go into next fight and just if they could somehow force both Vegas's both support ults. I think this is good from Vancouver. Why trade Beat for Wesh when you can just disengage with Lucio speed? Well, the problem is they weren't able to disengage with Lucio speed. So like here, look at where this Kiriko ult was placed. Very important. Where do you disengage? Where do you disengage? Like when they take your space away, you cannot disengage. Yes, this is current patch. This is live. So if you kite this, you can kite this direction, yes, best case scenario, but then you end up giving up the entire high ground and then now they flip the map on you. And that's just not worth it to me. You need to match. You need to deny the Winston engage, match ult for ult, and then just win the fight. Why couldn't they just play bottom left and push the attack Vancouver? Because you'd get crossfire from a million different directions. You would not be able to push Robot without the Sojourn and Kiriko and T-Racer on high ground just melting you. You don't have the sustain to do that safely. So I like this play from Vancouver. It's a high risk, high reward play. It's a calculated risk, and it works out very nicely through good team play, and I think some individual errors from Rack Attack, Luke, and Malthul. There's probably more in there that I missed, but I'm not going to obsessively go over every single person's POV. So they're going to cap, and they're going to get a little more. And getting cap is huge because that means that downtime while the robot's there is being used while nothing's happening, right? Now we have good spawns. Now, okay, so here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. This is what should happen. Luke or Rack will press Q with Suzu to make sure they don't get one-shot by Aspire, and then they're going to run over Vancouver. Worst case scenario here would be pop both support ults. Shouldn't be necessary. Vancouver's really turning the heat up with his tempo. I think we're just a little late with the Suzu. Yes, I am. Vegas and Timeless, yes. We're just a little late with the Suzu. I don't know. To me, it's consistently looking like Vegas is just getting caught with the pants down by Vancouver aggression. Because the thing is this play will not work. If they don't get the shot right here, it's over. Because there's the bubble from Vulcan, there's the Kiriko ult, and this fight's over. But it's just complete chaos. I'm also a little bit concerned about what Dove is doing here. How does Dove get cleared here? Dove is a little early. I think Dove could probably be a little bit better timed here, and/or probably should mark Sugar-Free, because Sugar-Free is part of the reason why this goes wild, because they get turned around at a really bad time. Really, Dove should just be marking Cart right now, and then he can pincer from there. He doesn't need to be playing inside of his Kiriko, and he needs to make sure that the Tracer with Pull Sum doesn't get him on behind. So a lot of little things are going wrong here. A lot of little things. And also a nice shot from Aspire. So this is honestly like you're getting away with highway murder, highway robbery, not highway murder, highway robbery right now. Because now this fight is totally unwinnable, but like you've actually forced out the Kiriko, which is like really crazy. Vulcan's gonna go in hard. We're gonna go in hard with him. We'll probably see a beat and then a late primal if necessary. Now, chat, let's see if you guys were paying attention. What should Boston do? Or Boston, Vancouver, Freudian slip. What should Vancouver do literally right now? Uninstall, run away. Right. Do you guys remember the Vancouver? Gosh, my words today. Do you guys remember the Shock versus the Dallas Grand Finals? Even on this map, right? So much of that was just Shock getting over eager when they have an advantage, and Dallas just pressing S key out entirely. And if Vancouver is on their A game here, they can literally just S key out. They have all their cooldowns and just run away, completely run away, completely bait out the beat. This is one of the most common mistakes that you see in pro play, even all the way up to Overwatch League. Do you guys are familiar with the Art of War, Sun Tzu? Okay. When you are strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. Fundamentals of Overwatch. Right now, this is a strong team. They have Primal and Beat. This fight is unlosable. So what we do not want to do is get too greedy. We just want to walk forward patiently, nothing the matter here, and then use your cooldowns, and then beat. Run them over. By doing this, you open up the opportunity for them to kite you out. You go too fast, too greedy, too aggressive. You're too eager to use your advantage, and you fumble the bag. You fumble the bag. So the problem with this is if Vancouver is a great team, they're going to be able to uninstall. They're going to be able to kite this. We'll see if they do. They might not be able to. Like Vancouver's early in scrims as well. Let's see. There is a huge opportunity. You guys can see it right here. Right there. You can kite this. You can kite this. Will they? I told you. Ouchies. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. We got to just walk forward. Just walk forward. Walk forward. Because if they're ready to kite, they're also not in a good position to punish you as you walk forward. So you don't even need to worry about walking forward. We knew it was going to happen. And I want to give you guys a big shout out because this is not a bad play. Okay, this is a bad play from Vegas, yes. But this is more of a great play from Vancouver. You look at look at this, look at this, look at this. They're appearing strong. You see this? Aspire taking an aggressive angle. Bam! And they bait it out. That's really good. Smart. I'm telling you guys, so if I could boil down Overwatch League into teams that are good and teams that are bad, it's mechanics, and I wouldn't even say macro. I would just say planning quality. Having planning quality, whether that's listening, whether that's thinking about ults, whether that's taking good position, it's planning quality. It's mechanics and planning quality. Right there. Massive. And now we can rotate all the way around behind and take a fight at the choke here. Oh, they might take an early fight here. They're going to take an early fight here. And what's this going to do? This is going to force a Primal Rage. So I actually think here... What's going on here? Dove is looking for a pulse. Are beat engages ever useful? Yes, they are. Absolutely. But you can't open with beat. You need to engage. Make it look like you're weak. Remember the Sun Tzu. Don't look strong. Like, we have a beat. Here we go. Just engage normally. And then beat. And then you bait them into cooldowns. If they don't have Suzu there, they lose that fight. I'm telling you, if Vancouver misses one cooldown there, they can't win. Very nice disengage. Okay, so let's see what happens here. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So Dev is going for backline, so he's not marking the enemy tracer because he's got pulse. What's the problem? Is Malthul feeding here, or is Malthul not getting support on an off angle here? I definitely think Malthul's feeding a little bit here. I think if I'm Malthul here, I think they get caught off by the rotation here. I think probably playing like the angle here would be a little bit better. He needs to play better cover. I think that is, even from first fight, the use of cover was just not as good. But I don't know, guys. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that simple. If Aspire, listen to me. Listen, think about it. If this was proper, would proper die here? Now I know what you guys are gonna say, but I don't know. I'm just saying it's not this simple. We've got both supports stacked on one angle, while Malthul's swinging wide. Of course, Malthul's going to die. You know? So yes, cover usage, yes, a problem. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think this is more than just a Malthul's feeding issue. This is just, Malthul is definitely feeding. But I think that like a Malthul swinging on this angle is an objectively a good position, just not the way he did it. And I would love to see a Lucio here, right here, and Malthul playing this position right here. You don't know how Rack Attack and Luke Mina are supposed to help here? They're supposed to be here. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. With support, it's not about bailing people out of jail. It's about preparing them and preventing them from getting the position where they need the help anyway. So right here, my point is, why is Rack Attack, like, they're just, I don't know if it's a miscommunication, but we've got supports backing up while Malthul's going in. If either of these supports are able to preemptively be here, even just like right here, boop, punk back, Malthul lives. Like, Malthul 100% lives. And not only does he live, but he baits a lot of attention and survives with it. So I think this is a lot deeper. Malthul feeds, yes, but it's not just that. There's a lot more than that, I think. Okay, and then Malthul's dead, and then this is just a trade, a bunch of ults. Like, this is going to be, like, mechanics here, target focus. I don't think they even knew Punk had Primal. They almost get Aspire, Aspire lives, but then now, now this is just a man advantage for Vancouver. Luke should probably die. Oh, Rack dies, yeah. I mean, it's just you were down your Sojourn, you know? Sugarfree's in trouble. Okay, we're good. Yeah. I mean, this is just disastrous, you know? Does marking Sugarfree also left to Malthul living there? Potentially, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem because Dove had Pulse, so we wanted to go for a more aggressive play. My point is that we can't have Malthul taking more aggressive angles and not support him. I think that's the issue here. And that kind of stuff happens, so yeah. Like, case in point, look at this right here. Look at Malthul right here. So he's down his Lucio, so he needs to be really careful. It's also, his cover usage is not that good. But let me tell you guys something. If we could keep Malthul alive when he does stuff like that, you just used a Sojourn Shift for a Monkey Bubble. That is a good trade. We like that trade. We like that trade. That is a good trade because now we can actually walk forward with a bubble advantage, right? Malthul could have played this with cover better, but Malthul just created a big opening for his team. Do you guys see that? Watch this again. He takes an off angle. He takes an angle where it's easier for him to do damage on the front line. He builds his rail faster than Aspire, right? You guys see that? There's the difference. You see that? Okay. He slides out. He probably should not have turned his head. He probably should have turned his head away like you would in front of a Widowmaker. And he also probably should have played cover better. But now he has rail. Aspire does not have rail, and they don't have bubble. This is a good play. It's not the best play. It wasn't executed very well, but it was a good play. So let's walk forward. The only problem here is obviously the support ult advantage now. We've really messed up. There's Suzu. And we might just actually lose this one. Yeah. mean, what is he supposed to do, y'all? This is a he walks into a Kiriko, maybe? I mean, there's just nothing to do, you know? There's just nothing to do. I mean, where is my Suzu here? I mean, where's the Suzu there? You know what I'm saying? He dies either way, but at least we buy more time. I mean, this fight's lost, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but... Time the engage with slide, maybe? He could have played tighter to truck, maybe? Yeah, probably. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You know what it looks like? Here's what it looks like. It looks like they weren't expecting the Kiriko ult. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's just me. It doesn't look like they were ready for the Kiriko ult. They do C9 the cart, which is helpful. Like, Malthul is the one that's getting his teeth kicked in first, but it feels a lot like it's more like expectation, planning, team-wide issues more than anything else. And then he doesn't even get Suzu'd. I don't know. Right. See, this is okay. Let me clarify what I'm doing here. I've never worked with Malthul before. Malthul's not a buddy of mine. Okay, he's not a long lost uncle. Okay. The problem is I want this to be an example of why lazy narratives can be a problem. From what I know, I have not watched this replay, but Malthul goes 1-12 or something insane like that. But you've seen at least half of these deaths, even when he got pulse bombed, right? Where they just weren't his fault. They were just good mechanical plays. Or even if he could have played it better, it was a lot more nuanced than Malthul's just trolling the lobby. When teams play badly, a lot of the time somebody gets punished. And it might be Hottie in 2021. It might be Malthul in 2023. It might be False in 2022. So, is Malthul playing well? No, guys, Malthul's not playing well. Malthul's not an S-tier Sojourn. But Malthul isn't also the worst player in the history of the universe, necessarily. There's a lot more that goes into these mistakes than meets the eye. And the other thing, too, is then who do we blame for this in an early or season scrim? Is this even something to be concerned about? You know? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. You know? Okay, we should win this fight, though. We should just open Kiriko ult. Let's hope it doesn't get kited. Hope we don't have another Sun Tzu situation again here. Now, I'm not saying that Malthul is the best hit scan in the history of the world, and if you have your own arguments and you studied your POVs and you're like, I don't think Malthul's good, I think these other players are better, I think they should... You know what? You're entitled to your opinion, and if you've done your research, roll with it. But just because something goes 1-12, it doesn't mean everything. There are so many things that are going wrong. And right now, Malthul's getting the worst of it right now. Malthul's getting the worst of it. Man, Vancouver is just rolling in. And again, it looks like they're not prepared. Like, look at Vulcan's jump here. It just doesn't look like the team is prepared for this aggression from Vancouver. Because watch. They Kiriko ult's probably fine, but Kiriko ult goes in, they go past the Kiriko ult, and Vulcan actually jumps in, and then he just gets completely juked. Now, a lot of this is going to be a little, not a lot, but at least a little bit is a little bit of a mental game, right? A mind game, like trying to predict what the enemy team is going to do. But I will say it's pretty funny watching Luke and Vulcan get completely juked. Watch this. Whoopsies. Malthul might die again. There's the Suzu. And there he dies. So whose fault is this, guys? Is Malthul feeding? Is Malthul feeding y'all? Tell me Malthul's feeding. Tell me Malthul's feeding. Tell me Malthul's feeding. Go ahead, tell me. But what is the guy supposed to do? Like, He's on cover, charging a rail. Could have hit that shot. I will say this: hitting a body shot even on that tracer would have forced probably a recall, maybe. So that shot needed to hit. I mean, I don't know. You know, what's Rack doing here? Do we get the poop on the Winston? We do not. Yeah. Vulcan is not involved in this fight at all. That's the #1 problem. #2 problem, the Kirikou ult goes the complete wrong direction, so we get almost no value out of it whatsoever. #3 problem, Rack Attack is not involved in this fight basically whatsoever. This fight's still probably lost, just because Kiri ult is still really strong. Like, what happens to his Spire here? Spire doesn't get beat. Oh, he does get beat. No, I'm bad. He uses his shift. He probably should not have used his shift there. A little bit of sloppiness with his shift. But if Malthul had used his shift like that, y'all would have crucified him. I'm just saying. So, respawn advantage. Kirikou ult. All right. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think this is a team fight diff. I think this is a planning diff. I really think the last 3 fights have demonstrated the difference, and not even macro knowledge. I wouldn't even say that, but just decisiveness and leadership. And I promise you, if you guys want to know Punk's value here, I promise you this is Punk. I would bet at $100 that this is Punk. Punk on Monkey. What a trash throw, right? I promise you this is Punk. Mechanics, you know? Listen, you don't, I'm not going to sit here and defend like, oh, he's getting picked off sometimes when he shouldn't be, or he's not hitting a lot of rails, but yeah, it's not, yeah, he died. Aspire diffed, okay? Aspire is probably the better Sojourn. Oh, I mean, he's definitely the better Sojourn. Again, Aspire is the better Sojourn. Now, I'm curious, why did Aspire have more charge than Malthul? Probably due to, like, early greed peak. Yeah, he got an angle on the... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just a good shot, yeah. So yes, a little bit of mechanics. Probably didn't know that he was that high in charge, so it's definitely a mistake from Malthul. But, you know, even then, it's a great play from Aspire. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You need good mechanics to be an Owl. Does Malthul have hit scan, Owl level hit scan mechanics? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't like this impatience I see from Vulcan a lot, I think. It sometimes feels as if Vulcan is reaching ahead of his team a lot. Where he's going very in, but we're still playing very back. And he is zoning backline here. There's the Primal, but the Primal gets... Why is he Primal so early? Is his bubble break? No, we needed to wait. We needed to increase our uptime. We could have waited at least 2 seconds here. And that's very important because we need to be the second Primal Rage here. Because we trade primals, but because we're on defense, I feel that we didn't need to prop primal as soon as we did. I think we could have been the second primal, which would have allowed us to get a little bit more uptime on what we needed to get uptime on. We're gonna beat here. Malthul dies. Why does Malthul die? Shift. There's the group. Oh man. Archivist, thank you so much for the sub, man. I appreciate it. The beat's just a little bit late, maybe. No Suzu. Ah, the punk juggle, mate. I don't know what happens here, y'all. Oh, that is not a good TP. That is not a good TP. Not a good TP. We needed to be patient with that one. We needed to trust Rack's peel. Not a good TP from Luke. Not a good TP from Luke. And let me actually check Luke's peel as well, or Rack Attack's peel. I think we could have done a better job being involved in the peel here, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's just Vulcan doesn't quite get the kill. Punk gets the better boop. Luke messes up his TP, and then that costs him his Suzu, and then Mouthful dies for it because the beat's just a tiny bit late. Ah, man, guys, like this is tough to watch. But again, like what about this is Mouth? Like I really don't think this is Mouthful's fault. Again, let's actually watch this again. I will say this slide is unnecessary. That slide's definitely unnecessary, and we missed the rail. The E's fine, forces the Tracer out. Now you guys are probably wondering why he doesn't just slide now. Well, if the Winston is good, he will cancel your slide with Primal, with the boop on Primal. So it's dangerous for him to slide like this. He needs to be very careful. So again, a mechanical issue. I think Luke messes this one up. Yeah. It's just not good. It's just not good play from Vegas right now. Yeah, it's a better play by Punk, a little bit worse play by Vulcan, mistake by Luke Mino, mistake by Mouthful, a little bit could have been more value from Rack as well, and then that's it, you know. Also, by the way, if you guys notice the sound cutting out, that's a sound barrier mistake. It's a bug. No way we get a full cap, right? It's so empty. That's so weird. Okay, so they pop to get out of spawn. They get the kill, nice. So really, I actually think this is a mistake from Vancouver. I think Vancouver could have baited this a little. I think it's just so close to cap. It's just unfortunate. Vancouver could have kited this one better. Punk gets body blocked by Vulcan. That's actually really funny. And then the Reaper swap, kind of like a panic, quick cleanup.
What's up?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna defend Vulcan's mistakes or Mouthful's mistakes. Mouthful's missing a lot of shots. He is mistaking some of his positioning, but it's like I said, it's just a lot more complex than that. It's a lot more complex than that. So this is a pretty interesting fight, I think, for both teams. I think both teams have a pretty good argument to kind of just chill and take a neutral. What I want to see is the old Overwatch League finals. Hey, Anthea, good to see you, mate. To just 3-2-1 turn with Bubble and Monkey, and then probably Kiriko ult on top of that. But do the trade first so that you don't get your ult kited again. Yeah, this is just... Oh, man. This is just bad. Like, okay, here's the funny thing, chat. Both teams make the mistake here. Hey, coach. How's it going, mate? Good to see you. All right, chat. What's Vancouver's mistake here? Actually, let's start with this. What is Vegas's mistake here? Remember Sun Tzu. Let Sun Tzu speak to you in your sleep as we watch. What's Vegas's mistake here? What's Vegas's mistake? They're appearing strong. Exactly. Rushing. They didn't even take a neutral trade here. They took no cooldown. They just rushed it down, which means this ultimate is extremely kiteable. You can already see that they're in a very easy position. Look at this cover. Look at this corner. Like Blueberry is out here with a boop. Good job, Faith. Look at this right here. Watch. Bam. Just maybe he didn't even hit the boop, but he was in position to, right? Good to go. Now, what's Vancouver's mistake here? What's Vancouver's mistake, right? You guys can see it pretty easily. So the Kitsune rush, it's the same thing, they're rushing it. You see it, right? Old Kiriko rush comp was Reaper. Team and Scrim said Mirror. Reaper's better. Why choice over Reaper since apparently it was worse than Mirror? I'm not so sure that it's worse in Mirror anymore. Tracer's received a little bit of love. Am I incorrect with that, saying that, chat? I think she's received a little bit of love since the patch. And also, as metas evolve, things like mobility and flanks and angles matter more. So I'm not sure that Reaper is necessarily better than Mirror. But, yeah. It may be. Right, Punk doesn't get the memo. Right, exactly. Because this probably was a miscommunication. Here's I guarantee this is what happened. Guys, they're going to Kiriko ult, let's engage with Beat. And then the irony here is that Vegas messes up so badly, they go so early with Kitsune Rush, that Vancouver was not expecting this to be so kiteable. So then it almost, because the Kitsune Rush is so early, it actually baits the backline thinking, whoa, we can wait, let's change the plan. We can kite this. And Punk is like, we're not changing plan. Assassinate backline, go in, right? And that's just what happens. And what this does is this causes a disconnect that is going to be a bit of a mess, because obviously if we're looking to beat in here, you would not have your backline moving out. You'd have your backline moving in to one-shot Mouthful again. Yeah, so DPS passive change. Oh, I didn't even think about that. 5 to 5.5. That's actually true. Reaper probably benefited from that passive a little bit more. Hey, KCK. KCKL1. Yeah. So I don't know. See, I actually think that... Oh, no way Mouthful dies again. Oh, chat. Ow. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This positioning is not good. This positioning is not good. I do not like how Mouthful either slides away from Monkey Jump or moves into it. He puts himself right in front of the enemy team. He should just sit here and just sit in the monkey bubble, not in the monkey bubble, just sit right here, play cover maybe a little bit, and just let his Kiriko heal him and just laser the monkey down. He's moving in, and then he ends up getting isolated. He creates a split for Punk. Punk is like, okay, thank you. And I'll say this again. I mean, he's not even in a position to boop. Like, I mean, Punk doesn't even need to deep jump. I mean, I don't know. This is just, there's so many little things wrong with this one. It frustrates me. Also, why are we Suzuing and what are we Suzuing? I don't get the rush here. I don't get the rush from Vegas. This is why we take a neutral first, so that you don't have to feel like you have to W key before the even, because the problem is when you W key, okay, here's the problem. When you W key without taking a neutral trade, then if the Winston jumps in deep, then the Winston landing on you is going to force your Suzu. So this is a mistake from Vegas, this is a mistake from Luke, this is a mistake from Mouthful, this is probably a mistake from Rack Attack, because they're W keying, but Rack is playing back. If they're going to W key, they need to make sure that Winston doesn't get the jump off. It's just not good, guys. It's just not good. Also, big miscommunication like we talked about with Punk. Punk just needs to get out. Punk does get out. Why isn't Dove like... Dove should be doing more with this as well. Let's see what happens with Dove. The sound thing is so disorienting, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Stupid beat. Yeah, not the best mechanics. Not the best mechanics in Reaper. And then, yeah, like this is just a this is one of the worst fight losses that we've seen, I think, so far. Just goofy mistakes. Really, really goofy mistakes. Is this a communicational error? 100%. Communicational error, listening error, mechanical error, lots of... I mean, I don't know exactly, but I know at least it's a good... Wow. They just have no respect whatsoever. This is insanity. This is the Vancouver thing, man. They just don't care. Ooh, Aspire. Aspire gets yoinked. What happens with Aspire? Do you notice how, by the way, this is what should be happening when you pop Kitsune. Just sit patiently in it. What happens? Does the Dove flank catch them off guard? Must be the Dove flank. Where's my Suzu, Kremzo? I think he just gets tunneled. Yeah, just a goof up. Nice flank from Dove, by the way, though. This gets them the skill. Yeah, this is a nice little flank. A nice little job from Vulcan as well. This is good. We'll take this. This is so disorienting, y'all. Again, the beat bug where there's no audio.
Time to drop the bomb.
What? Oh no. Vulcan primals. We need to walk, or we need to burn their primal. We need to get that primal going. Farm it. Oh, Vulcan. So right now we need to get out. Oh, sugar-free. Good gracious.
Hello.
This was either sugar-free or Crimzo. How does he... I mean, just a little bit of both. Just a little bit of overextension. It takes them years to force Punk's primal though. Good use of cover as well. Nice boot from Rack. He's gonna pop primal early to make sure he doesn't get railed. Malvol's gonna die again, surely. Dies. Nice, Punk. That's a full cap. So just a lot of just, I think just a communicational team play mechanical gap here. It's tough. He gets ruled. Again, don't read too much into this, guys. It's really hard, because here's the other thing, guys. We also have to understand that you see this in matches as well. The level of play is very unstable in Overwatch. And I think that's just the nature of a lot of sports and competitive things in general. So much of it's confidence, how people are feeling. Maybe they're clicking heads. Maybe it's a little dice roll. Maybe they had a really nice VOD review. And everything, kind of the stars aligning. There have been, I mean, you guys, how many times have we seen London or Glads or Dallas and officials look like different teams? That's how it happens. Even the best teams have bad days and off days. Now, this was not a great performance from Vegas, but we can't really predict or know exactly what caused this performance gap, right? It could be a lot of factors. It could be understanding, it could be mechanics, it could be confidence, it could be just bad luck or a bad day. So like, I think the key thing is again, don't take this as like Vegas sucks. It's more like Vegas doesn't look very good in that particular scrim right now. But obviously as time goes on, who knows? Vegas definitely has the capability to turn it around. And it's also a really long season as well, because you really truly never know. You really truly never know how stuff is going to change over the course of the season. People will get a lot better over the course of the season. So you gotta cut teams some slack. And I hope that if any like Vegas players ended up watching this, that they don't like take this one too hard to heart. Like, I'm pointing out very specific issues that need to improve, but it has no commentary on who they are as a person, or how smart they are, or how good they're coaching. It's way too early in the season. Way too early in the season. You need a lot more time before we actually know like what the issues are and what we need to improve. We got one more replay code we're going to look at with Timeless. I heard this one doesn't go super well, but again, same kind of things apply. Like, I have a distinct memory of struggling more against Contenders teams early on in our training schedule with London. I think so anyway. And by the end of the season, the Contenders teams, even the best Contenders teams, were just a joke. So again, don't read into this one too much. I'm using these more as like, I said this with day before yesterday as well. I'm using this less of a read of how good this team is and more of like what this team needs to do better and what can we learn from it. I'm treating this as like an opportunity to educate you guys about team macro, but doing it so from players that you guys are familiar with, because it's more fun to look at Vulcan and Wub than it is to look at random diamond players playing on Colosseo. They were leaked publicly. Are there any situations where you dive up to with Winston, dive TP with Winston, and then rush? Yeah, you could. As Kiriko, are you saying? Apple Slice 72, better than Wim, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I just want to like, especially like now that like, I mean, look at this, guys. It's a Rein match. It's a Rein matchup. Like, don't tell me that you guys don't want to see how this plays out, right? Like, this is super cool. This is super cool to consider, right? The high end of Al looks really sick this year, though. Yeah, potentially. Big Slipper 18 clears. I love they all have like console names, the numbers and stuff. Okay, let's talk about the matchup here. So, how do you play Rein into dive? If you guys have heard me talk at all about London in the past, I've been very open, even just coaching Reinhard teams. I've been very, very open how we did it with London this past season. It's not complicated. It's sometimes tricky to apply, but it's not complicated to understand. Press W. No, the absolute opposite of pressing W. Zone off backline with your Reinhardt, yes. S moment. Well, I wouldn't say S moment. So not exactly the opposite. 90 degrees off. Stay in spawn. Yes. Well done. Good job, guys. So proud. Tight with team. Actually, the exact opposite. Exact opposite. You cannot beat dive by grouping up. You cannot beat dive. It's actually impossible. Look at the comp. Look. I want you guys to take just a quick second and look at the Reinhardt composition right now. What does Bap have over Kiriko? What does Hanzo have over Reaper? What does heck even Mei have over Sojourn? Now Sojourn has Rail, but think about it. Force angles and pressure flanks. Yeah. Hold space, range, poke, range. Yeah. Rein comps need to listen. You need to mark off angles. You need to control space. Hanzo is not an optimal pick versus dive, but you can make it work if you put a lot of an early and often pressure and control space. When London was playing dive, we learned quickly that you can never, ever, ever, ever group up. Never. You always had to control angle and space, which is why I was very happy to coach London, because that's my catchphrase. Angles, right? Angles, angles, angles. I've always been the angles guy, right? So what we did is we put a lot of emphasis on controlling angles and controlling space. How that would look would depend on the map point and depend on the situation. Sometimes it mean Backbone by himself. Sometimes it mean Admiral with our soldier on the angle. Sometimes it would mean a Sojourn with Elusive. Sometimes it would mean Landon taking an angle with Mei. Usually Hadi would control it on main and try and prevent follow-up from on nades and sniper shots and things like that. But you need to control angles and space. Remember how dive works. If you guys were here 2 days ago, you know that we need to get angles so that we can then dive your backline. So if you prevent those tracers and Winstons and Sojourns and Reapers from taking off angles into your backline and instead shoot them in the face a lot of times, then they will never actually dive. The irony is that brawl never usually brawls versus dive, at least not early on. Wouldn't that make one person easier to dive? No, actually, because here's the thing. Let me draw this up. I'm so excited to talk about this. I know some of you guys, like, we've heard you talk about this a million times. Just bear with me, okay? Bear with me. All right, let me get a print screen here. Okay, so if we have, let me give you guys a mock setup here of how I might want to coach this to be played. Bap back here. Actually, let's give you a Bap here. Rein here. Let's say Mei holding the corner here, poking out this way. Hanzo playing here. You guys can't even see that. Just Hanzo up here with Lucio. Let's get these nice and big, fat, juicy. Hanzo and Lucio, if you guys can see that. And what you do is, if I'm playing Winston composition here, all right, I'm trying to dive people, right? But what's the problem with Bap's positioning? I can't reach it. And as I'm trying to walk forward so that I can reach it, I'm getting shot by Hanzo, Lucio, Batiste, by fire strikes. I'm getting shot in the head by Mei. It's impossible. I can't get there. So I got to try and flank around behind, right? Especially if I'm running like a Tracer or Winston. No, I can't, because now the Batiste swings to the right and starts shooting me in the face. And the Hanzo starts shooting me in the face. So what do? I jump the Hanzo, right? Right, guys? That's the solution. But then the Lucio boops me. The Hanzo lunges away, gets bat, pocket, and shift. And I've had to use my jump and bubble. And now the Rein and Mei, who are uncontested, can literally run forward, pin into my backline, and try to pressure up. It's a game of whack-a-mole as Rein comp. Any dive hero that tries to take an aggressive off angle and open space, you shoot them in the face. over and over and over again. The only way a dive composition can kill a Rein comp is if you do, like, if you land like on one target with like 2 or 3 people on the same time. Isn't your backline able to ignore the Rein Mei and follow the Winston? Exactly. That's what makes Kiriko so strong in dive, is that the Rein doesn't get as much value by blocking nade and by blocking sleep, right? Well, what can Rein do instead? Because, you know, they go Kiriko, right? There's no sleep or nade to drop. But you see, but they've lost something to go Kiriko. They no longer have, if you don't have sleep or nade, guys, you cannot kill Reinhard. So now, yes, you can ignore Reinhard to an extent, but Reinhard can also ignore you. Reinhard can do whatever he wants on anything he wants. So what Reinhard might do, what Kuffer might do, is play very aggressive, knowing that there's no sleep or nade. And then anytime that there's a dive, yes, there's no sleep or nade to block off. There's no sniper to deny. So he might just pin on Malthal. He might just pin backwards and just start swinging like ham. So the way Reinhardt beats dive is usually by taking positions and preventing dive from getting the off angles they need to catch your BAP. To catch the BAP, to catch the Hanzo, you need to set up flanks and angles. You can't just run it down mid, because all then they will do is press S key and press mouse 1, and you will melt. You will melt. This is how London did so well last season when we played Rein. Now, London did well in a lot of other reasons. Chris did an excellent job coaching a lot of other compositions besides just that. We did very well in Junker Queen meta. We did well in dive meta. We did well in double flex support meta. But this is how you play the comp. And the reason why Mei is so good is because Mei is impossible to dive. She can take any angle she wants. She can do good range pressure. And you think she's isolated, all you got was an ice block. Now, the ult's kind of weak when there's a lot of mobility, but it's really good. Now, the one weak point here is Hanzo, I think, because Hanzo can put out good range pressure, but if you do manage to catch a Hanzo with a Winston landing on him, he does usually die. His mobility isn't very strong. Soldier was a little bit better because he was a little bit more mobile, and Sojourn was even better because Sojourn just would slide away if you jumped on her, right? But Hanzo's really good in the Rein mirror because his lack of mobility, at least his lack of immediate high value mobility, isn't a problem when you're playing Rein versus Rein. So what we want to see from this team, Timeless, I think, is a lot of off angles, a lot of control, a lot of open space, and trying to punish people as hard as you can. I actually don't think I like the Reaper very much in this composition, because remember, how do we win as dive? You win by isolating and setting up off angles and flanks, right? I don't think Reaper is very good at that. Reaper is not going to kill Reinhardt. It's just not going to happen, almost ever. So I would like this to be a Tracer instead, and then I would like to see maybe something cute from Vegas, like they roll out here, and then we could have a 5-man rotate to try and catch the Batiste napping. Maybe you catch him napping, maybe Kaffa is like walking, like where are they at? And all of a sudden they're behind him and immediately walked on your Batiste, and then you die, right? That would be how dive would have to play, at least in this first choke. And then as the map opens up, it does get harder for Brawl to mark your off angles because there's so many more angles and flanks and ways for your Tracer to hide and for your Winston to sneak underneath, right? It's a lot harder to mark them. It's very similar to how like a spam comp would play versus dive. Very similar. Why choose Rein over any other tank if they were running dive? You probably didn't know that they were running dive. Rein is also really good on this map because it's a very narrow map, so you can get lots of value. Could be a comfort pick. I think if you're playing optimally, you would play D.Va here because D.Va can just run around and mark your off angles and just be a general nuisance all the time. It's not even, you don't even play D.Va for the peel, ironically. You actually play D.Va to do the exact same thing that your Hanzo Mei is doing, which is just sit on their face and shoot them in the face. The difference between D.Va, though, is that D.Va can just make Winston's life miserable. And also, D.Va doesn't need as much support. Dive should play more patiently and set up angles right. And then when they get their angle set up, they need to play ferocious and aggressive. If you set, like, here's the thing, guys. When you set up your off angles and you set up a good dive, Batiste and Hanzo literally cannot live. They just can't. It doesn't matter if they have shift. It doesn't matter if they have lamp. It doesn't matter if they have lunge or jump. They will die 100% of the time, sometimes even if you have sound barrier. You literally cannot live. You cannot live. But if they don't set up the perfect dive, they can. Why Hanzo instead of Bastion or Cass? Bastion would get too isolated. Bastion's too slow. Cass is probably also a little too slow, but Cass could work here. Cass could definitely work here. Hanzo, like I said, I think is because they expected Rein. Maybe not. We might see a Sojourn swap later. Junker Queen is not bad, but Junker Queen I think is like, you guys are underestimating how fast new Reinhardt is with the new charge and the new charge cooldown. What is charge cooldown now? 7 seconds, something like that. Like Rein can dive almost as much as a Winston can on a flat map. Hanzo for mobility of the high ground. Yep. That as well. So like Rein is going to be better than anything that doesn't have as much mobility as him. D.Va has a little bit more mobility. But yeah, he could go anywhere he wants. He could peel, he could pin, he could run at the Sojourn, clear off angles, pin on the enemy Kiriko, pin on the enemy Winston. He could do anything he wants, and he's got so much HP. Like, I think that's the big thing. You guys are thinking Orissa's tanky. Ryan's almost as tanky as Orisa, and he can move around so much. Do you think after first fight, Mei should go Reaper? No, because remember, how is Brawl beating Dive, right? You're beating Dive by poking them out early and often, right? You're poking them out early and often. Thank you, Zuyong. I really appreciate the sub, mate. So you want Mei's gun. You need her icicles. Reaper does have that shift in case you dive him, and Reaper isn't a horrible pick, but actually you need a little bit of range here. It's like, let's put it this way, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you had, like, let's say Reaper Mei instead of Hanzo, right, and like let's say a Moira, you could survive every dive, but the dive wouldn't get punished for diving, right? They'd jump in at full HP, they'd survive, and they'd build ults and they'd win. You need damage. You need to shoot them in the face, right? So we tried this before sometimes in metas where we go like super survivable comps. Like we go like Reaper and Mei and like Moira, and we would lose. We would lose because we would survive, but survival isn't good enough to beat dive. Reaper doesn't help them prevent them from setting up right. You guys are getting it. Yes, exactly that. You could survive the dive, but you don't do anything before the dive actually happens. Tracer Cass with Rein, that could work. Yep, Tracer could aggressively mark their divers, right? With Bat Pocket, right? Cassie has a little bit of range as well, right? And he can poke out early and often. Yes. Nice, guys. Nice. Guys are getting it. This is complicated stuff, too. It doesn't get much more complicated than this, if it makes you feel any better. Okay. So, let's see how I almost said Vancouver, how Timeless handles this. If initial dive fails and Hanzo Bap reform with their team doesn't dive enough to prevent Brawl from retaking angles, no, because dive is generally more cooldown reliant than Brawl comp. So if you look at this comp, yes, Mei is a little bit reliant on cooldowns. Yes, Bap is a little bit reliant on cooldowns, but Hanzo is not. Rein is not. Lucio is not. Kiriko, yes. Winston, extremely so. Sojourn, not that much. Reaper, very much so. So when the Winston comp commits cooldowns and doesn't get value, there's a window there for Rein to push afterwards. So Rein is all about early and often. Then once the Winston tempo, they've used their bubble, then Rein goes in again. That's actually part of the reason why I think Rein comp struggled so much versus Doomfist more so than Winston sometimes. Haskell, thanks for the sub, is because Doomfist cycles were so much faster. Now, when Winston got Primal, oh, it's GG's. You just, Primal would almost always, because Primal can cheat the angles, you just go in, right? But until Winston got Primal, Winston was actually pretty easy to deal with compared to Doomfist, especially if the Doomfist is really good. If you ran Tracer, would you be able to run Bap with Zen to orb her, or would Zen be, probably it would be very greedy. But listen, let's put it this way. There's logic there. It would probably not work out, but the logic, you have the right idea. My concern with Bap Zen, it'd be too easy for this dive comp to just rotate as a group on right and close the distance too fast without the Tracer with Pocket doing enough damage. The sightlines on this choke aren't good enough if they play near cover and stuff. But again, you have the right idea. I just think in practice, it doesn't quite work out quite that well. And that's always the thing, guys. Like this is a lot of theory about how it should be played, but sometimes certain heroes are just too strong, because with what I just described, then why wasn't Reinhard playing the grand finals? Well, it just wasn't strong enough. The theory carries out, but sometimes heroes are just too strong. Kiriko on release just cheated too fast. She went in too hard, and so the theory is always there. It will always be there. Rein could be trashed here for 5 years, and the theory of how to beat dive would always be there, and it would work against teams that are worse than you. But sometimes heroes are just too strong and they overwhelm the macro, if that makes sense. Some characters outweigh synergies, exactly. Well, not just synergies, but also matchups, because then what's better, dive or brawl? Depends, right? I could spend just as much time explaining how dive beats brawl by clearing off angles, by taking short dives to force the Hanzo back, and then we stabilize, use that cover, rotate it around, right? But I'm just telling you, if I was coaching a Rein team, this is how I want you to play. If I'm coaching a dive team, this is how I want you to play, and then we just face up against each other and we find which team is either better execution, which team is better understanding, or which heroes are stronger, right? So I'm a little concerned right here with, I like Doomed's positioning, because Doom is playing bait here. Doom can probably play a little bit closer to cover, but Doomed is playing in a position to where he can force resources and do damage output without being at risk of instantly dying. Okay, who is mispositioned right now? Can you guys tell me who's mispositioned right now? Think about map control angles and who's actually at a risk of being dove. Maybe Wub. Wub is in a very aggressive position. Wub is, dare I say, in a mouthful position earlier. Yes. Yes, it's Lucio. Lucio is mispositioned here. Why? Where should Lucio be? Who's at risk of being dove here? What space matters right now? Off angle. Right. Control the space. Wub is taking an aggressive position. If Wub can live here, we can win the fight off of this position because of this angle that he has here. Maybe even if he took like the angle here. So why is Neptune peeling for a Batiste that's under no risk? Because Batiste is playing a little bit further back. Batiste is under no risk. Wub is. And there's the rotation. You guys see that? There it is. There it is. There it is. Nice. Nice. Because if Wub can stay here and Doomed can stay here, we might be able to win the fight off of that. Okay. Now, the funny thing here, guys, is it might actually be okay for Vegas to do actually nothing and wait for the fight to come out into open space, because when you get this open space, you have more angles. Okay, there's more sightlines for Hanzo a little bit, but they're on the floor. There's more space to take better flanks to be able to catch Batiste and Hanzo. Get rolled. So let's see what happens. Wub is playing very aggressively, I will say. I think if this was Overwatch League, they probably would have pulled the trigger and killed Wub already. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Dove would go 3-2-1. We'd peek here. Vulcan would go 3-2-1. Even with Lucio, Peel, and Bap, I think they would probably die. And also Vulcan could jump in and duck into cover here as well. Unless he gets pinned, I think it'd probably be good. I do think Wub is probably playing a little too aggressively here, too short of a sight line, right? He's not going to be able to get enough range pressure without getting picked up. But if Vegas hesitates, Wub might hit a shot or do it too much damage to prevent them from diving. I do not like this positioning from Timeless. I think they are simply too close. I think this is too close from Wub. I like the aggression, but I think the aggression is a little bit misplaced. Kibbs, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. I think this is a little too much. There's the jump. Wub just hits a shot. What's the purpose of this dive here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We just were a little desynced even. I'm not sure. I don't think we had a target in mind. Sorry for the buzzing, y'all. Like, I really feel like we could just short jump this Hanzo, place bubble right here, have a Reaper pincer from behind, and Malthol can even drop and throw E, and I think Wub just dies. And you've used so little to force lamp, shift, and probably a kill as well. I think this dive is too deep. The Wub is right here. I do think Wub is mispositioned here. Reaper can't play when your monkey puts bubble in, right? Yeah, right. And that's it. That's the limitation of the Reaper, right? Versus the Rein is this: if you don't have bubble, you can't play the game. Whereas the Tracer can. Not very good execution, I think. Uh-oh, Vulcan. He gets. Oh, this is actually. This is the backbone wall. Credit. Bang. Nice wall. I don't think that was particularly well executed by, ironically, I don't think it was that well executed by Timeless. Why you choose Hans over Cass here? No reason, actually. Maybe you think that you like the high ground here. I actually think that they were just... I don't think they expected Vegas to go dive. I mean, you do have that better high ground mobility here, and Wub might be just really good at Hanzo, but I think Wub is also good at Cassidy as well. So, yeah, Cassidy's a little bit tankier, has a little bit less options or fewer options. But I do think Hanzo's a wee bit worse in the dive. Whoa.
We pull ahead of the other team. Did your mother not teach you caution?
Icicle plus Hanzo shot, right there. Now this is where Rein comp can do really well. Obviously robot is a problem, but like there's no flanks on this part of the map that are very powerful, and you have these monstrous sightlines. Thank you so much for the sub, Red. I appreciate it. Red OW. As long as it's not pumpernickel. Yeah, see, this is goofy foolishness. This is goofy foolishness. This is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who their BAP is. We want to get early and often pressure, but we can't be this split from the corner. We just need to be here, and then also as a BAP player, you have to know that what enables you. Like, here's the thing. This is why we play Lucio, y'all. The reason you play Lucio in these compositions, besides just speed, is because Lucio is really, really good at allowing people to take more aggressive angles and peeling them off. Almost like a Brig whip shot kind of an idea with the boop and the peel and things like that. So the problem here is our bat picks a really wide swing, but our Lucio's pushing robot. So this is not earned. This is really not earned. If anything, you'd have like Wub taking a wide swing and our bat playing passively, and then Wub lunges back towards his bat peel, if anything. Whereas bat, this is just not worth it. This is silly. And this is what dive is good at, right? You find someone who's isolated, who has not earned it, and look at the HP of Vulcan as he's jumping in. You see that? He's taken no damage. That's a big, big problem for how the Rein team is taking this fight. And there's your lamp. I don't know why we Suzu. I don't know why we Suzu. We should just dive that and then chill. I don't know why we Suzu. So we really just need to dive that, use bubble, force them out, you force lamp, then rotate from underneath, and then just walk on these guys. Again, if you just walk, I know it sounds weird to say that into a May comp, but I'm telling you, dive, at least this variation of dive with the Winston and Lucio and Curie and such, they would love to walk into a Batiste. It's not, the Rein May are definitely okay in close range, but you do not win this if you're able to get the backline here. Dove just gets his noggin blown off again. Again, as soon as that bubble breaks, you know, it's just it's a dice roll, you know. This is why I do not like the Reaper here. Yeah. And then Vulcan's kind of forcing this here. We really just need to disengage like all the way out. That's an unnecessary stagger, and we're going to see more staggers now too. And there it is. It could be that they're testing out the Reaper. You could make your Reaper work if you were like really sneaky with TPs and were able to cheat the backline. Because remember, what Dive wants to do is they want to set up angles. So Reaper can TP and just skip that process, right? So yeah. Yeah, some nice shots from Wub though. So how are we going to stage here? The Sonic as well. Somebody brought that up in chat, and I do think it's important. The Sonic can also help you control space as well because it gives you information on where people set up. What changes make the Reaper bad in this comp when it was meta? The fact that Monkey was being played was literally why the Reaper was being played. Reaper is good versus Monkey, but he struggles a lot when he doesn't have, when it's not a Monkey mirror. Because you need your own bubble to play in versus the enemy bubble. Otherwise you get shot too much. Yeah. So the Reaper is weak here. Oh no. No. This is called reaching. He was looking to isolate and split off and cut off Wub. The problem here is we're going to turn around, and this is what we see. So Plat chat, You know what? You guys have leveled up. You guys have done you guys are smart. We're diamond chat now. You're diamond 1 chat now. How do you dive? How do you dive here? How do you rotate and how do you dive here? If you're Vegas. Go under and sides. Ooh. Different angle. Ooh. Round the back. Ooh. You guys are evolving as we speak. Yes. We'll give you guys a few more seconds. Left mini. Run it down main. Reaper TB behind, monkey jump from bottom. Left stairs. Yeah, exactly. You guys, exactly. What I would like to see is I would like to see if we're gonna all in this fight, and you can, outside of like you could probably all in here, is I would like to see monkey jump from here onto this side with a Reaper with him, and maybe even Sojourn. Sojourn can maybe play from main here, but honestly Sojourn could even shift up to here at the same time, and then your Curie can TP. Like you could just rotate from here. You could have your Reaper also wrap with Lucio from behind here and sneak up from behind here while your Winston, Sojourn, and Curie are going here, right? And you're still not vulnerable to things like Blizzard or Shatter or things like that, right? You're setting up good angles. You have good cover. You can drop down if you want to. But I think the best thing would be like a Winston, Sojourn, Curie with a Reaper, Lucio, Pincer. Even if our Reaper just TPs literally in the middle of the enemy team and then immediately race just to bait attention, that will set up a good pressure. And then we can drop, we force some cooldowns, we rinse and repeat, and then now we've got our Curie ult. But you cannot run straight down mid. You just can't do it. You just take too much damage. And the other problem here is if you are going to run straight down mid, you need help. You need help. Vulcan goes in completely by himself, and his team bails. His team just cowards it out. I hope we don't see more staggering. They don't know where Dove is, surely. Ooh, Malphite survives. What do you think of Echo instead of Reaper? It can work. More of a map-specific choice. I wouldn't like it on this map. It's too open. They kind of did that with the BAP was out of place. Yeah. Ho, 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 ho. Good try, Kuffa. I respect it. Wall me up, wall me up, wall me up, wall me up. Ah, disaster. Good try. Was the window even necessary to kill Vulcan? No, they just used the window to control space. Now this is a classic backbone, where if the Winston doesn't have primal and does a shallow jump without cover, this worked really, really well early in the season, in scrims as well. We would just instantly Blizzard the primal. Or the Winston, and they would always die. As Winston's got smarter, they'd play around cover better, and or they'd bait it with primal, and then our Blizzard would get wasted. I don't think Vulcan knows this. I think Vulcan's probably gonna get frozen, and I think Vulcan will probably die. So now we're in deep. Now I will say this: at least we got Vulcan and Dove on the same page finally. Then we're gonna Kitsune Rush. I think Vulcan probably dies, and Vulcan dies. Right, and Dove gets pinned. I told you, man. Rein can do whatever he wants in this comp. He's look at him. He's just sewing in backline. He's just chilling. He's gonna drop and swing in these boys. Check it out. Back has to peel. Then he just pins in. Rein just does whatever he wants. Does whatever he wants. You guys can see how bad Reaper feels in this comp, and also a little bit of a micro error on Vulcan's in here. Do you recommend jumping on the roof? Yeah, I mean that would be a little bit weird because you don't have as much control about where you drop, but it would be better. It would be better than what Vulcan did. Yeah, yeah, and obviously losing with Kiriko is a little bit dookie. I don't even know that the beat was necessary. Let me check this out. Yeah, I guess it was. It was necessary because Dove actually sets up a really nice flank here. Credit to Dove here. This is a nice flank, really well timed as well. And this is what Reaper's really good at. Reaper's even more lethal than Tracer if we close the distance. That's just wild to me. Finally coordinated, but ults, and it's not even super well coordinated either because the backline follow-up just wasn't there. Because Kaffa was playing it well, but also, you know, it's brutal. Malfolt's gonna die, gonna get staggered. He does not. He gets out alive. Oh, they took his shift. Nice peel. So, are Vegas gonna pull? Are Vegas gonna Sun Tzu it, guys? I mean, surely a Contenders team won't be able to kite out an ultimate, right? Surely. Patience, patience, patience. Now, chat, do you see the problem right here? Who's gonna win this fight? Ignore ultimates. Just close your eyes and pretend there are no ultimates online right now. Who wins this fight? Remember what we've learned. Don't disappoint me. Maybe we can master. Maybe you'll be Masters 5. Why? Why Vegas? Why? Vegas has the angles. Not only do Vegas have the angles, but what else does Vegas have? No angle, right? No angle control. They're able to just walk onto the enemy team and take 0 damage. Yep. Now this is, remember guys, Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu. When you are weak, appear strong. What's the problem with Timeless right now? What's the problem with Timeless? They're weak, right? But they're looking real weak. They're looking real weak. If you're going, you have to at least control space so that they're forced to use ultimates, and which you can then kite them. This fight, Vegas probably doesn't even need to use an ult here. All they're gonna do is 3, 2, 1, jump, bubble, E, Reaper flank. It's over. It's over. It's just over. I feel like they might not even need to ult here. Oh man, timing, gentlemen, timing. Wait, just wait. If your bubble, if your Winston jumps here, Dove, it's over. It just, even when they set it up, right, Dove is out now on Vulcan's end. I mean, look at the cleave opportunities here, guys. That's just really, really disappointing. You must synchronize your pressure there, and you have to be brave. You had a massive advantage. That being said, card's still moving. That's disappointing. Disappointing timing. We did such a good job the previous fight. Now, this is a cheese. You forfeit the entire map, but you can stall for a little bit. So, chat, why is this kind of a stall bad? Let's put it this way. This kind of a stall is a cheese. A cheese is defined as something that works versus somebody that doesn't know how to beat it, but that instantly falls apart as soon as you know the key to it. You guys ever have like those little mind puzzles with like the nails and metal bars twisted around each other and you're like, it's impossible. They're like, oh, it's so easy. Never mind. This is what we're looking at right now. So what's the solution to this cheese? I'm going to move my camera to one position and everything is going to be clear. No angles. Right, exactly. You control no map when you do this as the Reinhard comp. Yep. Oh gosh, guys, you guys are Masters 5 now. You guys are Masters 5. And thanks for the sub, mate. 9 months. You guys are literally Masters 5 now. Exactly. Right here. Look at this. Look at this for Winston Reaper. Boom! Right? They're cooked. It's over. Perfect staging on the backline. Remember what Dive wants to do. They want to get on top of your backline from an angle without taking any damage. And this is literally it right there. Look. Wub even Sonics it, right? He's nervous, right? So is this bad from Timeless? Nah, they probably know they're going to lose this fight. They're just going to stall for time a little bit, maybe. But this is just the freest thing in the world. Freest thing in the world. Please tell me they recognize this. The worst thing you could do here would be to jump inside directly because it makes it very easy for these guys to kite. And then also it gives, you take too much damage on entry and you don't have angles, right? So you just use the doorway and this fight's over. Literally, this fight's over. Yep. Come on, guys. Come on. Dove. Come on. Go in there. You got Primal. Go, just drop in there with Primal. 3, 2, 1, bam! C9 cart. Drop in there with Primal. Have your Kiriko could come up here and spam too. Just you could completely skip the Reinhard shield. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, guys. You're almost there. You're almost there. And I also don't like the supports here. Rack is not doing much at all. Rack should either be assisting the dive directly, or you could have Rack play with Malthul so that we're not scared of Kuffa at all, and Malthul can play aggressively, and then have your Kiriko go with here. I think there's a real lack of support value from Vegas. We have our supports playing very, very passive, not looking for opportunities to assist other people here. Come on, come on. Yes, 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 yes. Even with the wall, yes. Look at the chaos here. Look at the isolation. Instantly ice block. Instant lamp. We don't even have to beat it. Look at the split here. It's over. It's over. This fight's lost. We didn't even need to use that much. We got a little bit split. The problem here is that we don't have our supports involved. We just don't have our supports involved. There is absolutely no reason for both of them, for Luke to be in literal Narnia when the entire map is his apple. Like, where's Luke? Where's Luke? Luke should be here. This is not Dove's problem. Luke should be here. Luke should be here, guys. Like, you're playing a support that can literally go anywhere at any point in time. Luke needs to be here. Luke needs to be here. And Rack can play with Malthul and just W key ego wherever. Why did the Rein team play in the back there instead of just playing to the right of the Rein? Because if they'd played in here, then they'd give up even more map. Like, Wub literally couldn't... Like, imagine playing Hanzo in this room. You would just... There's nowhere to go. So they're trying to create something of a distance between themselves and the angle, but it doesn't work. So I'm just a little bit disappointed. Because that should have been a very clean team fight win, and it's very messy, and it costs 2 ults. Dove goes Genji. I think Genji is very reasonable. He's going to do a lot of what Reaper does, but he's going to do it a little bit easier because he's got a little bit more mobility. All right. Whoopsies, I did not mean to press that. We're only not even halfway, y'all. Wow. Guys. Jeez. I just don't understand, y'all. I just don't understand. This is I don't know if it's mental boom here. And here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna say this with full humility. This has happened to teams I've coached many times. It happens. This happens. So we're going to say they're losing because Dove is in spawn while Vulcan's jumping in. You guys are talking about the Widow pick. And dude, the Widow pick isn't even the problem here. Like, the Widow is probably not the best pick here, but the Widow pick isn't even the problem, bro. It's what are we doing? We have somebody in spawn. You know, this is just, you know, pro players. This happens to pro players too. This should make you guys feel better. You know, this stuff happens in Overwatch League scrims. You know, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Oh, man. Now we're popping more ults when Vulcan's out. Dove's still not here. Yeah. I mean, Kava should not have even died there, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Okay, I don't care. I'm gonna leak it. You guys want to hear some leaks? You guys want to hear some leaks? London got boomed in a lot of scrims. Not a lot of scrims, but it happens to everybody, right? We were scrimming Gladiators last season. I think it was like stage 2. And I don't know if it was Patafan or just the whole team or whatever. I think it was like the whole team, honestly. We won like the first 2 maps in like dominating fashion. They got so boomed, they called the scrim early. They literally called the scrim early after like 3 or 4 maps. Gladiators. The Los Angeles Gladiators, one of the best teams in the world. They got so boomed, they called the scrim early. It happens, guys. It happens. Now, we never had to call a scrim early, but honestly, we probably should have a couple of times. There were a lot of times when we were so mental boomed and so distracted, the practice wasn't even good. It probably would have been better if we called it early, but we just had too much ego. We didn't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So it happens, guys. Like, this is horrible play, you know? But we're not going to sit here and pretend that this is Vegas exclusive. So I'm just saying that to be like completely honest with you guys, to show some humility. You know, this happened to London. This happens to the best teams in the world. Doomed gets rolled. They were so mad they won stage 2 out of spite. Exactly, dude. Glads were crap. Glads at their peak. Honestly, Glad stage 3 were terrifying. I know everybody said this a million times, but they really turned it around in the Junker Queen meta. They did such a good job at the end. With the Korean roster, I don't know. I honestly don't remember. Probably, yeah. I don't really like the Widow pick that much, because you can use your Widow to control space and sidelines. So Dive wants to control angles and go for backline, right? You could control a lot of space with a Widowmaker and like a point like this. Like you could control this zone, this entire area, and make it control so much space with this. I just don't think it's very good on like this choke. Like what space? How are you setting up your Winston much? This is just boomage, honestly. Like I don't even know. Do you think they could have beaten Fuel in the Summer Showdown? Was that the third one? The Junker Queen one, y'all? Maybe. I think they were the only team that had a chance to beat Fuel. Probably, yeah. Yeah, they were probably the only team that would have had a chance to beat Fuel, yeah. They were really good. Again, this is just, it's just meant, I really don't want to overanalyze this, guys, but like, if you were, okay, you know what, I will overanalyze this. If you were gonna make this work, guys, if you were gonna make this dive work, how would you set it up with the composition you're running? This is a mental exercise, okay? If you were to make this dive work, how would you make it work? How would you make this dive work? How do you make this work? Why is Well playing Hanzo over Cass? Just a rollout pick, and they probably stuck with it because it was working. They rolled out on because probably anticipating Rein. And honestly, Hanzo might still be okay versus dive. I don't think so, but it's possible. 3, 2, 1, jump Rein. Force Hummus to the open. Force him into Widow Silence, right? I wonder if they could... I wonder if Dove could, like, hard flank here. I'm not even joking. I wonder if Dove could hard flank here. And they time the pressure at the same time. I'm not... Because I don't see what your Widow could do here. Like, you see this? There's nothing here. So, probably just send your Widow on a hard flank. And try and synchronize the pressure at the same time. That would probably be the best play. At this point in time, though, they're probably so boomed that they're not even thinking about it. I mean, that's exactly what Dove does, but by the time he gets there, the fight's already lost. Yeah. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster through this jet because the level of play to me is not implying any sort of effort or focus. It's just mental doomage. Like this is just goofy, you know. There's not a lot to learn from this, and remember that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. We're not here to like just divulge power rankings or make fun of Vegas. Because, like I said, it happens to literally everybody. Do we get onto the BAP? Do we get onto the squishies? Do we get into Hanzo? We're jumping Mei. We get on BAP. We're peeling back. We're focusing Reinhard. Cuff is very happy to be focused. That's a great dive from Vulcan. Can he get help? No. Dove is stuck. Thank you, Luke! Thank you, Luke! Yes, yes! This is how we play this hero. You do not sit here. Go! Get in there! Help your monkey! Yes! Suzu yourself. You don't even need to. Wow. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. That was it. That was it right there. That was it. Just bypass. They don't have mobility. They can't punish you for doing that. They can't punish you. That's why Kiriko was so busted, because you couldn't play anything but Kiriko because your backline just got toasted. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Mobility, 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 mobility. Look at this. Completely MIA. Easy access to the Hanzo. If we could time this with their supports a little bit better, this is absolute gold. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. How much damage did Vulcan take before diving? Look at his HP. 0. 22. Now, what am I saying? 22. Not even close to 22. 17. Why did I say 22? Oh, 33 plus 22 is 55. 550. You got my brain mixed up. Okay. Yeah, this is it. He took no damage. Now, Dove isn't even here yet. Mouthful isn't even here yet. Luke isn't even here yet. Rack isn't even here yet. So it's about the most scuffed dive in the history of the universe, but it still works. We bite. There was no angle control, no pressure. We found an isolated split. GG's. Nice. Brilliant. Easy. If I have a free second, could you explain how to counter Doomfist at higher ranks? Don't ever be surprised about where he's positioned. Always track him. That's the corniest advice that I could give you, but it's accurate. Outside of that, it really depends on your hero and the hero situation, and it's such a broad question. No offense, just a very broad question. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm telling you, man, Reaper is not good. What? Reaper is not good. Not good in this matchup. He's just not mobile enough. He's not fast enough. What's the blizzard here? We should be blizzarding right now. Do we blizzard late? Yeah, he blizzards late. So then this... Yeah, he blizzards just a tad late. He almost catches Vulcan, though. He almost catches Vulcan. And I will say this as well. Nah, I'm not going to say this as well. Never mind. We just were down one. It's just impossible to win this. Oh my gosh. What is going on here, bro? Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm sorry I can't help you more with that. Try and never be surprised by Doom. Always know where he's positioning and where he's setting up. And just chip him down. Don't be scared to shoot him. There's another pressure. Oh my gosh. He did it without even Lucio up. Like, actually the real mistake here from TITANS is having 2 people on cart. Really, I think, like, Neptune, like, Doom should have been patient here. Oh man, that's just mechanics, because he could get very punished for that. Oh my gosh, dude, freaking love. Look at this man. Uh-oh, here comes the shatter and the primal. Oh, not even Lucio. Then there's the Ash swap, because why not? And that's it. Yeah. I don't know. I think more to learn there from just like the first rollout, discussing about how the compositions should be played, and maybe the first couple of fights. But besides that, there's just not a lot to learn. Just some mental boomage. That's basically it. Not a whole lot to pull from there. I think it's a little bit of, we don't want to over-analyze. Reaper booped into Dragons. Yikes. So Vegas is probably trying some stuff. Vegas had a bad day. Vegas has the opportunity to still be a successful team in the Overwatch League. There's definitely some rightful mechanical questions about how good mechanically the players are. But a lot of the things that we saw were more fixable than anything else. So I guess it will be just a question of like how many of those issues are going to be able to fix, and also not overreading just a single scrum, right? Again, I know I've said this a million times, but if nothing else, guys, it's just a scrum. It's not the end of the universe. They're trying stuff out where, you know, they got a little mental boomed. Like I already told you guys, nobody would believe you if I told you that Gladiators were getting rolled by the London Spitfire early in stage 2 before we were even considered like a really good team. But it's the case. They rage quit. So it happens to the best of us, right? Glads are better than us. They were definitely the better team than us mechanically. But we just hit it, and they didn't feel it. You know, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, stuff snowballs, and you go from there. You know. So I guess be respectful. You could be honest with what you saw today and your Reddit and Twitter opinions, but also understand that there are good players on bad teams and there are bad players on good teams. And make sure that when we consider what's wrong with Vegas, it's not just simply, oh, their players are bad, but maybe their execution today wasn't and be specific. What was not good about their execution? I'm not on the copium. I'm on the respectium. I'm on the respectium. I would love to see a little bit more, at least educated, respectful takes. And I know those aren't fun, but you know, I'm on the respectium. That's all. Wait, this is another one? Maybe we could take a look at this.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
All right, we'll look at it a little bit. I'm an old man, y'all. I'm tired. We'll look at it a little bit. Let's look at the ball, because I don't want to just beat up on Vegas. Let's talk about some positives crap here, you know? Let's do it. Let's take a look. Vegas here. Okay, ball. How does ball beat monkey, y'all? How does Eternals comp win? This is the code in case you guys are looking for it. I'll update the command. Disrupt backline. Couldn't you just say the same thing for monkey? Like, guys, just compare the monkey versus ball. What does monkey do better? Where's the codes command? Oh, there you go. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting the commands edit fixed. Bubble. Soft hit and then hard hit when monkey's forced out. Yeah, but ball has more uptime. Exactly. Ball has more uptime. So very similar to like how we were talking about the Reinhard composition, controlling angles and early and often. That's kind of what ball does. Like monkey has a really high burst like spike, but ball is more consistent. So what we want to see with Vulcan is preferably before the monkey even gets set up. I want Dove Vulcan with Mouthful trying to get some early pressure up. Keep it on the monkey, keeping the monkey in the back foot, keep the early pressure, and so on. Monkey dives, we survive, and then we punish post bubble. It's that simple. And if you guys compare Reaper to Tracer, you'll also see the same thing aligns with that matchup as well. Reaper versus Tracer. Reaper has a very big spike in value that is a very bad hero after that. So if we're able to survive the monkey and Reaper engage, then we should be good to go. Let's take open sightlines, try to get good early spam, maybe get some roll, some disruption, where our Sojourn and Kiriko can spam, and then we should be good to go. So we get just a little bit of disruption on the dive. You guys see that right there? A little bit of disruption on the dive. Oh, my days. Okay. That kind of forces some stuff up. There's the monkey. Now we need to walk. Now we need to walk bravely. Walk. Take angles, walking, take angles. I think Mouthful can actually ironically be playing more aggressively here. So I actually don't even think Mouthful should necessarily be so scared here. I think Mouthful could be a little bit more brave and then just drop and then walk back up, and then he still has his shift. I think there's a little bit too much respect here. Because I don't think this engage is super well set up. I mean, it's a good Reaper Winston jump, but remember, their Kiriko Lucio Sojourn don't really have good positions. It's really just the Winston Reaper. If you, as a Sojourn Kiriko Lucio, can't peel off and pressure out a Winston Reaper duo when you have your cooldowns, then you probably should reevaluate whether you belong in the league or not. It's a joke, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's a joke. But seriously, I think there could be a little bit more ego here. And I really want more ego now, especially now that the Winston Reaper are out. We need to be actually taking space right now. We need to be walking forward. Again, it feels a lot of the times like Luke and Rack are just very passive. Very passive with how they play. They're kind of grouped up, clumped up, playing far in the back. When you've seen their power spike, now's the time to go. Dove gets rolled here, and part of that's mechanics, right? But also, you know what? Why is Dove by himself? Why is Dove not getting help from Rack and Luke? Guys, they've used Winston and Reaper. We need to take aggressive, take angles, take space. We need some more aggression here. Like, let me look at what Vulcan does here. Like, this is more of what we want to see, right? But I don't feel like there's... It feels like our supports are spectating. I've not been impressed with the support play so far on any of the three VODs that we've looked at. And whereas Mouthful and Vulcan and Dove have made a lot of mistakes as well, I think a lot of these mistakes would have been covered with a little bit more proactive and attentive support play. The coordination just isn't there. Well, it's definitely coordination to an extent, but it's also just like, it doesn't seem like our supports know how brave they can get. Guys, I want to ask you a question. If this was Magid or Ultraviolet or OG or Chorong or Chio or like, would they be here? Or Violet? I'm not saying that even if you don't have the world's greatest mechanics that you need to feed like this, but I think, like, you know, have some confidence. You know what I'm saying? Have some confidence in yourself. You know, control some space. I don't know if this is an understanding or a confidence issue or like whatever, but yeah, they'd be high ground, right? Exactly. Just walk up here, take the space. They've used Winston Bubble and Reaper. You're good to go now. You're safe, right? They cannot go to high ground. Look, they don't have the cooldowns, right? They don't have the cooldowns. This is your window, and we're just kind of standing here. We're not controlling space. I mean, I'm not even so sure, as I said, that they should have even given up high ground in the first place. And if they should have dropped and just retaken it 1 second later instead of running all the way back to spawn. Yeah. So now we got to play it safe. But then we back up, and then we retake it. Guys, turn around, shoot the Reaper. Reaper's Wraith, walk, 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 walk. Luke, walk, Luke, walk. Go back up top, go back up top, go back up top, go back up top. No, 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 no. It's just so passive, you know? There's the bubble, and just walk back up again. I don't know. I'm not sure what happens to Malfoy here either. It looks like it gets booped. Yeah, he just messes up his slide. He meant to go to high ground, and then again, like, we're just in general not controlling space very well. Yeah.
Objective loss.
It's just those windows of time when we have an opportunity and we're not taking them early and often, you know? This is better. This is better. Okay, what's the problem with our screen chat? What's the problem? This has been a very consistent theme with Vegas's play as a whole. What's the problem? Come on, chat. I'll bump you up to Masters 4 if you can answer my question. 2 split? No. Luke too far back? No angles. Supports in Narnia. Supports are nowhere to be found. Backline out. Right, exactly. Exactly. You guys are now Masters 4. Congratulations on the rank up. Rank inflation is real. Plat chat is now Masters 4 chat. Yeah. Yeah. Why are my supports here? Why are my supports stacked when I have my DPS here? Why is my Kiriko or Lucio not here assisting these DPS to put pressure? To get pressure on this Winston, to peel off Malfoy when he gets dove. Wrong team. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You're good. Why are we... like, somebody needs to be here. Malfoy and Dove are, I think, taking reasonable positions, right? Malfoy needs to get early pressure, take an angle for his hero, right? But why are my supports here? Why are my supports stacked? This has been a major issue with Vegas. Major issue with Vegas. On every map. And there it is, right there. Malfoy has to give up his positioning. We're peeling off of the monkey. Now we need to push. Now we need to push. Now we need to push. Malfoy could even drop here and start to walk forward. Again, proper it, you know? Start to walk forward. Let's go. But my supports again are stacked. Rack is just literally just kind of doing his... I don't even know what Rack is doing here. How would the monkey comp play this matchup so that they get the most fight out of their engage? Like, fight for angles heavily? So you need to fight for short sight lines. So you need to probably almost treat it like you were playing Reinhard and try and rotate and get on top of people so that your monkey bubble can get maximum value and your Reaper can get maximum value. I really don't like Reaper in this matchup. I don't see... It's a Contenders team, so they're not going to always play it. Maybe Doomed is a better Reaper player than he is a Tracer player, but you need to find some way to rotate onto the Sojourn with the Kiriko to get your maximum bubble and Reaper value. So right now, maybe you just press your cart, but at some point, maybe we rotate top and try to run down somebody. Or we pressure cart, we play out of sightlines here and try and bait them to walk onto us. And if we do, we can get maximum bubble value. I think this map is really open, so I think Ball is probably the better hero here. I do like Vegas's composition here. But if your Reaper is stuck shooting Ball, it's just not very good. You're not really controlling space very much. So we get a nice little dive here. Again, it just feels like... Okay, now ego these guys. Come on, ego these guys. I just don't know, guys. I just don't know. Like, here's the problem. Let me be very specific about why this is a problem. So Rack goose up. I think it gets headshot or something. Then we don't get the boop on the monkey. That's a problem. Obviously, when we're playing in a position where Monkey can drop his bubble on top of us, it's probably a positioning mistake, or we took too much damage like we just saw there and we messed up. This is why it's a problem. Watch Luke. Luke is in a great position to assist his Tracer and his ball, right? Right? Rack screams, I need help, I need help. So Luke walks on top of his Lucio. So now we have Sojourn, Kiriko, and Lucio all in one spot. And instead of Malthus sliding out, Rack Attack getting out easily, and Luke just sitting here, pocketing Malthus and shooting Lucio, and right? And then maybe even pocketing, I mean, heck, be like, all right, see you guys, I'm gonna TP over here and help these guys out, right? Whatever, or just sitting here, right? Instead, we have Luke has to use TP, and we've lost all the space in the meantime, and Rack is split. Here's how it should have been set up. And this to me is either an understanding or a confidence issue. This split here is fine. This split here is fine. What you do is you have Malthus and Rack here, Luke here, assisting DPS, maybe even up here, assisting DPS. They jump the Sojourn or the Kiriko. Kiriko, if gets jumped, TPs away. Sojourn gets jumped, shifts away. And that means that the other person, either the Sojourn or the Kiriko, is completely unbothered. Luke should never have had to use TP here, and Rack should never have gotten split. When I'm playing Winston and I'm landing on 1, 2, 3 squishies, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. This is why it's the issue, right? Luke should never have been within zap range. And if he should have been, it should only been because they jumped him and not Malthus. So now Malthus is AFK shooting. So yes, Rack screws this up, but this is why we don't want to support stack. You lose too much space. You give bubble and jump too much value. You don't control your DPS and your supports. Like, I don't know. So this is a late cheese swap from Dove. I actually don't mind it. What happens here? I think it's just a kill and web, honestly. What Luke should have done? Yeah, just sit here. Heal Malthus and Rack Attack. Don't move. Make them come after him to TP away. In the meantime, he can support his Tracer and Ball better and do more damage himself. This is just a Contenders team, yo. Red team. I'm not sure who the red team support is. So Luke doesn't get his TP force, so then he's able to help Rack Attack and his escape, and Malthus is able to comfortably hold space and do damage. Thank you, Barry. Nice patience here with the beat. We could Kitsune this now. I don't know. Some stuff isn't dying. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. We know Winston has Primal. We should not be chasing Winston with Primal. Especially using our shift. This is actually a huge opportunity for Kaffa to turn and Primal and Malthus and kill him. In fact, that's what Doom tries to do. And that means our most consistent DPS threat is actually tied up shooting a Winston that's never going to die. Loses high ground as well. Yep. Just dropped the mines. Nice shot by Malthus. Attaboy. So we need to be really careful about going inside this room for reasons why we talked about, like why the Winston Reaper wins. New numbers is otters. Okay. Because This is where the Winston Reaper composition is strong. So if you're going to do this, you need to be super, super disciplined and time it perfectly well. This could go very poorly if they mess this one up. Dove is in while Vulcan's out. Now Dove is out while Vulcan's in. Now Dove is in while Vulcan's out. Dove gets his recall forced. Little bit of chaos here. Little bit of chaos. We need to be much more synchronized there. It's honestly total. Okay, so chat, what could have Vegas done right here? What do you guys think? Better comms with what? For what? Back off, disband, surround, tracer and ball and engage. Yeah, synchronize our pressure a little bit. If we're gonna go for a high risk, high reward play, like going inside versus a Winston Reaper, you need to be perfectly synchronized. Watch this. Yeah, yes, Wolfman. Yes. Chill and spawn camp wub. You control the map, you control the angles, you control the open space. What are they gonna do about that? Masters 3 chat now. Nice, guys. Nice, Wolfman. Yeah, absolutely. If they're going to play to their strengths, we're going to play to ours. Right? Make them come out. Come out. You're going to come help up. You come out. Now we hit you. Nice job, guys. %51 win rate. Oh, yes. Honestly, a lot of how bad this fight feels right now is because we got desynced and tried to force going inside. So I don't want to overanalyze what's going on right now. It's just a bit of a desync and a little bit of a mess. It's tragic. A little bit of miscommunication with the touch there. It was actually a pretty good play by Vulcan. I know you're like, oh, they had Sojourn ult, but I honestly think that booping the Sojourn in like that aggressively isn't necessarily a bad play. You're making me feel good like I don't belong in Masters? I don't know. You're good. But yeah, I think they ended up getting the Sojourn ult. Like, here's the thing, chat. They got the Sojourn ult on the high ground. When you get the Sojourn ult on the high ground, it's hard to win. It's hard to win. They set up their Sojourn ult really, really well. It's kind of hard to lose. Or hard to lose when that happens. Alright, are we going to synchronize this pressure up? Well, we need to control space. Like, here's the nice thing. The weakness of, you guys are kind of seeing this right now. The weakness of the Winston Reaper composition, and you guys, like I said, are seeing it right now. How much space are these guys controlling? I mean, nothing, right? Nothing. Like, you can literally just roll in with ball right now and slam. And you could have your tracer, like, flank if you wanted to from here, or just run it down mid. Like, they control actually really no space whatsoever. So what that means in execution, besides these esoteric controlling of space, it just means that Dove and Vulcan and Malvol can really control any angle they want. They can come in and dive over and over and over again without really getting punished. And their backline should also be very safe as well. The problem here, as you guys are seeing once again, is remember the Vegas problem that we saw? If we could sum up the Vegas problem in terms of positioning, what would it be so far? And it's literally on our screen as we're watching right now. Yes, I think swapping the tracer is better. I don't like the Reaper. Coward supports. I mean, I wouldn't say coward, but yeah, but the backline is just very, very passive. It's not even the W key, guys. If you W key here, you probably get jumped by Winston. But why is my Lucio not up here controlling space with my tracer? Why is my Sojourn not up here with Lucio? And then you just get dove and shifts away. Why are we all on the floor? Even here, like even just here with a Sojourn Lucio would be impossible to die. You do not die with Sojourn and Lucio right here. It doesn't happen. And it splits the attention, and it forces Kafka to actually dive while being under pressure. You need to get your Sojourn here so she can actually shoot something. That's the thing, guys. It's not just about these esoteric off angles. You just need to shoot somebody. And Malthel right now can't shoot anybody. You see? You just don't shoot anybody from here, y'all. Like, it just, and our supports are just, we give up so much map. Like, and there it is again. Now Vulcan's in, Dove is in, but where's my follow-up? Where's my follow-up? It's a 5v2 right now. Now we walk forward, but you must remember the very first neutral with Vancouver versus Vegas. It's a nice pulse. I think that forces Wraith and Suzu. Or no, he didn't even have Wraith. Okay, forces Suzu. We can live with that. But our just supports are just permanently on the back foot, you know? Reaper should die. Nicely done. They bait the overextension. Now you have to be careful about those type of positions. So let's think about this one more step. One more step. Malthul positions here. Maybe Malthul isn't positioning here. Why would you not want to position here as Malthul? Maybe this is what, maybe they're big braining it here. The reason I'm pointing out is because it's been a consistent issue with Vegas, but maybe here it's actually the right play. Why? This is going to be a tough question. If you answer this one, you guys are up to Masters too. Worried about hard dive? We're just going to shift away, right? You're just going to shift away. Alpha! Alpha Tello, thank you so much for the summit. Oh my gosh. The monkey squad has arrived. Kaffa, I guess we just haven't seen your tweet. We should have just seen your tweet, guys. Guys, listen, if we had just seen Kaffa's tweet, we wouldn't have these replay codes. Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? I don't know. Somebody in my chat leaked it. You guys can scroll up from when I started the VOD. Look when I started the VOD. So again, the question is, before I was rudely interrupted by a bunch of Contenders fools, why would we not want to hold this angle? Look at the old, look at the old economy. Yeah, Kiriko. Yeah. Get slide out, then full commit. Then yes, exactly. So you could use cooldowns to force Kiriko. You could just dry jump with your Winston and Lucio, right? And then pursue with your superior ults. And because we don't have our support ults yet, we can't actually match. So what might happen is Kaffa jumps. Bam, they slide out, then we pop Kiriko and then we run them over because they don't have their cooldowns anymore. So that's understandable. That's understandable. I don't know if you won the map. We just went over the other one. No, I don't want more. I'm going to bed after this. I'm not giving you free coaching. I've served my time in Contenders. I've served my time. 20 years of it, and now it's command. That's my Contenders experience in a nutshell. Yeah, I mean, okay, nice play. Doom, okay, I'll tell you what, Doom definitely reaches a little bit here, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Even worse, I had spent time in Australian Contenders, y'all. You know, I'm real desperate when I'm spending time in Australian Contenders. Hilarious. Rack, what are you doing? Rack is like, I got this, y'all. I got this. Yes! Oh no. Yeah. Nice, Kaffa. Nice, Kaffa. Well done, Kaffa. Alright, y'all. Oh no. This is honestly a total mess. I have nothing to say here. Both teams are just throwing ults at the wall. Whenever this happens in team fights, anybody who's ever involved in a team fight will back me up. This is just mechanics and like target focus. People just go off. It's happened. It happens. Yeah. Right. They will get a recontest though. Now, chat. Now. Sun Tzu. Chat. Should we teach Timeless what Sun Tzu means? Chat, teach Timeless what Sun Tzu means. You guys can see it right here. I don't care, Cal. Look weak when strong. Now, chat, who's strong and who's weak right now? It's hard to say. You could definitely rotate this one out if you wanted. What was just dropped in my chat? Oh, these are old codes. Never mind, we're good. So we both teams have Sojourn ult, but I will bet my left butt cheek that Malthal's gonna press Q in about 1.6 seconds. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be very, very excited. Three, two, one. Yes! Yes! That being said, is this a mistake from Malthal? Is this a mistake from Malthal? Is this a mistake from Malthal? I'm not gonna... Let's watch. Chat, do you want to get to Masters 1? Do you want to get to Masters 1? Is this a mistake from Malthal? All you need is on your screen to answer this question accurately. What is the risk out of popping an ultimate early? What is the risk? We've already seen it multiple times. What is the risk out of using an ultimate early? Kiting, right. Are Timeless going to kite this ultimate?
Its destination.
What did Kaffa just use? So let me ask you a question. Is this a bad ultimate from Malthal? No, this is a good ultimate from Malthal. So I keep my butt cheek and Malthal makes a good play at the same time. Let's watch. Even if we don't win this fight, it is objectively a good play.
That's one.
Yes! Now, they still win because they have better space control, better map control. Malthal was stuck in a choke. Maybe Malthal didn't hit as many shots. Maybe Wub hit more shots. It doesn't matter mechanically outside of that, but it was the proper play. Nicely done.
Ready for battle.
But you guys don't get to go to Masters 1. There's too many of you that were on the fence at this one. Get rolled. All right. Winston, Reaper, Sojourn. I find it very strange that teams are running Reaper here, but you know what? I can see it. I just don't see Reaper on second point. That's why I'm like not as much of a fan of the Reapers. I swear Reaper shouldn't work on second point. You got it though? Yes, but but only you got it though. How did Vulcan die so fast? Great question. Let's find out. So there's gonna be stuff that I'm gonna miss. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. Nice little buzzer. Nice little buzzer. Oh. Can you get the mega? Oh, he got the mega. We good. Oh, poor feller. Yeah, I mean they just marked him. They just domed him out. And then because Winston is choking these guys out with a short range bubble, even though Kaffa dies, the bubble gets a ton of value. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay. Yeah. RKO'd, as they say. Let's see how this let's see how this works. Come on, Dove, hit the shot. Hit the shot, Dove. Is Backbone the only one to hit like a grapple shot in the match, guys? That one Paraiso? I think so. Lucio hard counters ball, bro. It's the same reason like Diva counters Winston more than like Roadhog or whatever ever does. All right. So it's all gonna be about timing and angle control. Wub slides out. Now's their opportunity to go. Do they go? They don't. Now they go. So Malthal is mispositioned here. Chat, where should Malthal be right now? And where should our supports be right now? Where should let's just start with Malthal. Where should Malthal be right now? Minor adjustment. Major improvements. What do you guys think? Swing out wider. Yes. Crates. Yes, exactly. Just a little bit wider. Next to the crates, where they got some cover here. Take the angle. You still have your slide. Use it. Use the fact that you still have your slide to position aggressively. Ego. You know? That's why we lose this neutral trade here. Not the only reason why, but it's one of the reasons why. I also want to see what Dove's timing looked like here. Not the best. Not the best. What happens with Vulcan here? Let's watch. Stop zapping monkey, please, Vulcan. We should not be zapping monkey as a monkey. We should be sitting here, zapping Reaper or Sojourn, and then disengaging as necessary. That's unfortunate. Also, Malthus should have been... Oh, no. So we just don't get enough pressure. And I also want to point out one other thing as well. Look at how we aggressively push afterwards. I don't know. I'm trying to look carefully here. Why is Doomed just the goat of Reaper? How do we lose this trade so bad? Malthus' position could have been more aggressive. That's why. That's why. And the reason why, I think Rat could have played more aggressively here. I think Malthus could have swung a little bit wider, and I think Vulcan could have shot the right targets. Then hook the wall accuracy? True. Yeah, I don't know. That corner's tough, though. We need to be more explosive, more synchronized on that peak. And also, we need to kind of be aiming for Reaper instead. Cal, you think Tracer's better than Reaper? Because second point, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Cal. I haven't sat in a freaking scrim lobby in a long time. That wasn't like 4.3K. So no, don't take my word for it. But I would be interested to see. I feel Tracer will be better on second point. Trust. But first point, I'm not sure. Reaper should feel impossible in second. You have Tracer who can control high ground really easy, but the other thing about Tracer as well is you actually have like legitimate cart pressure. It's a lot like Eichenwald second, where having somebody that can touch cart is really, really, really nice. But it also depends on player strengths as well. If you guys don't have a strong Tracer player and you have a strong Reaper player, you can lean into that. Whoopsies. Let's see a 3-2-1. 3-2-1. Let's see a Dallas neutral. Here's a Dallas neutral. 3-2-1. Exploder on the corner with rail, while your Sojourn takes a wide angle, and your Lucio assists your Sojourn. Like, even Rack getting a little bit of chip damage here would be nice. Nice, Malthus. Nice, Malthus. Somebody help Malthus. Somebody please help Malthus. I beg, somebody help Malthus. Rack can handle himself. Somebody help Malthus. Somebody help my man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an aggressive play, but it just feels like Malthus is always kind of leaning a little bit more towards aggression, but every single time he does, he gets left on an island. When do you have a player who is a strong Reaper but a not Tracer? Oh, it happens all the time, mate. All the time. All the time. A lot of flex DPS players have pretty solid Reapers, but don't have solid Tracers. Backbone used to be really good at Tracer, but he's a little bit washed. Or was. But his Reaper was insane. I'm probably gonna end stream soon, y'all, because I'm legitimately feeling my analysis energy like seeping out my ear. So like, I also have this pest. So I'm like, yeah, they're doing bad things, or they should do. This is good, guys. I'm good. Dav is going for the flank, y'all. I'm stoked. Barry Reb, thank you for the sub, mate. I appreciate it. Why is Banana Rush being played here? I don't know. Because other comps aren't very good. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know the full behind-the-scenes scrim meta about the meta evolution. I would be shocked if this is like only the meta that makes it, though. You gotta watch this clip. All right, Kuffa, remind me after this fight. I'll check it. I want to see Vegas win a fight here. Oh. Frick! You baby say it, guys. So when there's a Reaper ult, you have to be super disciplined with your formation, because if you break formation, you can't Suzu the Reaper ult. If you could Suzu the Reaper ult, oftentimes the Reaper just dies, like, instantly, right? But if you can't Suzu the Reaper ult because your supports get split, then you're screwed. Also, Dove gets juked. Dove goes for Le Reaper flank, but he goes a little bit late, and then he gets Le juked. Vulcan also gets juked again. This is very similar to what Vancouver was doing, where Timeless out-tempos them, and then they end up catching Vulcan and Dove with their pants down. I will see Vegas win the fight. They are going to win the fight. This first morning attack is tough to attack as well. All right.
60 seconds.
Chat. Let's end with this. I feel like Vegas Vegas wins this fight. So how does Vegas win this fight? If you guys want to go to Masters 1, how did Vegas win this fight? And then in a second, I'll ask you how did Timeless win this fight. But let's start with Vegas. How did Vegas win this fight? How did Vegas? What's the strategy here? There's a couple. There's not like one specific option here. There's a few options here. Beat Def. Yep. Reaper ult. Make Malthus go up to high ground to somebody. Monkey hard dive to bait cooldowns. Yeah, so I would like probably to start with Monkey. Yeah, Imposter. Yeah. I feel like opening with Primal, with Winston aggression into Primal or Sojourn ult is probably your best bet. Get your Primal on Wub so that he doesn't able to use his Sojourn ult and control that Sojourn ult, and then mid-fight beat really whenever, or mid-fight Death Blossom. Both ults are excellent mid-fight. Sojourn Timeless has to kind of play for their Sojourn angle. I would go as far to say I would like Wub to start high ground here with Kiri, and then just sell their Winston. Ironically here, Doomed is actually probably the most fragile player right now, because as the chaos gets started, Reaper often gets left behind, and as soon as your Reaper gets his Wraith Force from Sojournal, Primal, whatever, he's going to die. So Doomed needs to play very careful, very careful. Kaffa can live for a while. We keep Wubman high ground, he'll also live for a while. Yes, Kaffa also needs to control Malthus. So there's the deep dive with Winston. They're going to go in hard. Malthus swings wide. I do not like the beat at all. Not even a little bit, Sam I am. No. So we're going to amp speed. We waste boop. We're going to rotate in. Oh, wow. Kaffa almost gets this. Oh, this is really too close for comfort.
It's go time.
Enemy here.
This is not the plan. This is not the plan. Open with your Primal, open with your Sojourn, something safer, beat when it's safe. Hype, and again, like it's ironic that Rack Attack and Luke have spent more time split when they needed to be stacked than spent more time stacked when they needed to be split. I don't like that very much. I would have much preferred the Reaper, what am I saying? Sojourn or Primal opener, because you could choke them out of space and then just pressure point and then take high ground. And you could even put Malthus on high ground with the Sojourn now that you've forced the Primal. Yeah, Kaffa's definitely trying to force beat and or get the Ajax, because if he gets the Ajax there, this fight is actually very winnable. In fact, not only winnable, it's probably won. So it's a good play by Kaffa. I don't like how little space that we control here. I would very much like our Sojourn to be holding top, if we could.
This ends.
Slide top, slide top, you coward. Slide top, you coward. Slide top. Yes. Where's my support? Where's my support? Where this is disturbing to me. This is tragic. Now, really, to win this fight, all we should have to do now is beat and run over Malthus. Malthus should die. Malthus should die right now. Malthus should die. Oh, how does he not die? How does he not die? Oh, I mean, get chat. I mean, look at this. Look at this. We are 52 HP from Vegas getting full capped. 52 HP from Vegas getting full health in Blizzard World. 52 HP. TP Suzu, the beat, and honestly a really nice boot from Rack. Check it. Right there. Fight winning boop. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We should have been there. We shouldn't have to go there. We should have been there. And then probably just a mid-fight Death Blossom. 5, 4, 3, 2. Woohoo! Yeah, and that'll zone backline, which will kill Kaffa, and that should be it. Now we're just hard focusing Reaper. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're gonna call it there. I don't want to repeat myself over and over and over again, you know, with a lot of this stuff. So, I think low-hanging fruit for Vegas. Vancouver definitely needs to work a little bit on the communication, just a little bit. But I think Vancouver played for the most part okay. Vegas, I think, needs to consistently work on their backline, like being more proactive, controlling space, and the synchronization with Malthal. I don't know. I think the support line's got to kind of step up, and then better timing, better plan quality, better understanding of like the brawl matchup, some stuff like that.